Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Kurenai has a crush on Naruto. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. October 10th, 7:30 a.m. It was an average morning in Konoha, the village hidden in the leaves, when a young Naruto Uzumaki awakens from a slumber to the monotonous beeping of an alarm. He had seemed to just fallen asleep right when rang 2. Ah damn it, just when it was starting to get good too. He thought, slightly blushing at his dirty dream. Whatever perverted thoughts the newly aged 12-year-old boy had seemed to had disappear quickly as he realized today was his birthday was in fact today. Normally, a child's birthday should be filled with enjoyment and what some would call pure happiness. Naruto's, however, was filled with hate and pure malice. It served only as a reminder that nobody loved him or enjoyed his existence. That as long as he lived, the people around him would never feel safe. And the worst part about it was the fact that he didn't know why. He would wonder every year why he was considered less than dirt, to no avail. To soften the crippling blow that it would do to him, he would serve himself his favorite kind of instant ramen noodles, get whatever treat he had in his pantry, and sing himself happy birthday. Each time it would only strengthen his resolve to fulfill his dream to one day become Hokage and prove to the whole wide world that he was worthy of acknowledgement. Once the boy was finished with his breakfast, he would proceed to freshen up, dress up in his iconic orange jumpsuit, and leave his apartment to head for his academy training. Not that it ever helped him. All the teachers knew who he was and proceeded to make the training impossible for even a high-ranked genin to complete. Quizzes that would require an adept understanding of trigonometry and algebra, physical tests that would break the bones of regular people, having to spar against fully fledged chunin and jonin teachers. It pained him every day and it had no end in sight. Just as Naruto entered the academy gates, two men could be spotted in a distant alley. They had been waiting for Naruto to enter. Just as the gate closed, he spoke. "This is it, tonight's the night. At dark we'll get our vengeance for mother and father when that demon killed them that night 12 years ago. He said roughly. "That's right, brother, by the time we're finished with him, he'll know the true meaning of pain and suffering." The other man chuckled. He knew what he was going to do, and by the end of the night the demon will be dead by his own hands. Naruto had opened the door to his class to see his classmates at their seats preparing themselves for class. Immediately to his left he spotted Shikamaru Nara speaking to one Choji Akamichi who was feasting away at a bag of barbecue potato chips. A little further than them was a group of 3 that consisted of Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, and Hinata Hyuga. Kiba was arguing intensely how his puppy sidekick Akamaru was better than all the bugs that Shino carried with him. Shino just disputed him with cold hard facts and logic, saying that his insects far outclassed Inuzuka dogs in usefulness. While Hinata seemed to be staring at Naruto, but every time he would look at her she would look away and blush profusely. He figured it was nothing to worry about and pretended to not notice. But in the back of his mind he thought she was just like the villagers and she could never get over her hate for him, so he tended to avoid her to avoid that conflict with her. Then, there was Sasuke Uchiha, a black-haired boy who was the last of his clan. Because of that fact, Sasuke seemed to think he was better than everyone else, and Naruto hated that quality about him. He knew from the first day he met him his arrogance will be the one to cause him to fall. But otherwise Naruto could relate to him because they both had no parents, and deep down he knew that there was an innocent boy just who wanted to be free. The Uchiha massacre caused him to grow up too early. Because of that, Naruto felt sorry for him. He somewhat considered Sasuke to be a friend, though he'll never admit it. Next to Sasuke was his fan club, which were comprised of 2 members. A blonde Yamanaka named Ino who was loud, boisterous and prideful. Next to Ino, however, was Naruto's boyhood crush, Sakura Haruno, who was, in his eyes, a beautiful, pink-haired, green-eyed wonder of a girl who came from the heavens. As soon as Naruto's eyes meet the pink of her hair, he was reminded of the greatest cherry blossom tree in the midst of spring, and oh how soothing that feeling was. He was instantly reminded of his dream this morning and smiled for the first time that day. Something about just her made him happy, and he would always enjoy her presence in class. A ringing bell broke Naruto's chain of thoughts as he snapped back to reality to begin class. As Naruto sat down, he heard a familiar voice that relieved him of the stress he could have had that day. "All right class, settle down. Today we will be learning about the past Hokage and the history of Konoha," said one Chunin instructor named Iruka. Naruto considered Iruka to be the only actual teacher in the academy that was worth respecting. Iruka had always treated him fairly and gave actual assignments he could do. But Iruka-sensei, we already learned enough about the past Hokage and the village. When are we gonna learn something cool like a jutsu? Exclaimed one annoyed Kiba. And we will learn it 1,000 times over again, Kiba. Discipline and patience are core values of being a ninja, lest you forget that. Besides, if we don't learn from the past, how do we expect to improve and do better in the future? Stated Iruka without missing a beat. Aw man, I just wanna learn a jutsu, pouted Kiba. Class proceeded as normal with Naruto jotting down mental notes in his brain about the past Hokage. He had already studied them before, but it didn't hurt to reinforce that knowledge and get some things he missed. For example, he learned that actually Shodem's granddaughter is actually a part the Leaf's legendary Sannin, and her name is Tsunade Senju. On the subject of the Sannin, who can tell the names of the other remaining Sannin? Iruka questioned to his students. Umi, pick me Iruka-sensei, started Sakura while vigorously raising her hand. Okay Sakura, who are they? Questioned Iruka, expecting a fully fledged answer from the pinkette. Okay, well there is Jiraiya the Toad Sage, and then there is. She was cut off. That traitorous bastard Orochimaru, a young woman said whilst entering the room. Many of the students turned their heads to spot a young woman in her 20s wearing a fishnet shirt under a large tan trenchcoat. Ah Anko, nice of you to drop by. I suppose you're here to do your IT presentation to the students? Iruka laughed nervously. Yep, I'm here to show these brats all about my favorite subject. Torture, Anko said in a disturbingly cheery voice. Ha ha, I'll just leave you to it then. Class, please treat Miss Mitarashi with the same respect as you do me. Iruka stated, even more nervous than before. Please try to be civil for even a little while, I really don't want to write a report out of the students. Iruka whispered to Anko as he made his leave. What? Me and the kids, we'll get along just fine. Don't you worry about a thing. As soon as the door closed, Anko began to speak. Now what do you Gakis know about the torture and interrogation department? She asked with no response out of the frightened children. No takers? Well, how about you? She pointed towards Naruto. Within a fraction of a second she had disappeared and reappeared behind Naruto. With a kunai in her hand, she cut Naruto's cheek and licked the wound with the dripping blood. Go on, don't be shy. She spoke with a harsh tone in her voice at the end. The IT department specializes in extracting information out of Konoha's prisoners of war, using whatever means necessary to get the truth. Naruto said quickly and mumbling over his words. Good, she once again spoke in an overly happy voice. Now that you know what it is, let me explain the basics of interrogation. Anko would teach the class the basics of the human psyche and how it operated and how to use it to bend a victim to one's will. Naruto felt rather odd over the encounter with Anko. On one end he felt fear from being on the other end of a kunai at his face. However, he noticed her eyes, they were a lot like his. Not in the sense of physical appearance, but what mask the eyes tried to hold up. Naruto recognized it all too well since he wears the same one too. Naruto should try to get to know her, maybe she knows how to deal with the pain of being an outcast. It was towards the end of the day now and he was outside with the rest of his class at the school training grounds. Naruto was sitting alone at the benches when Sasuke and his fan club comes up to him. Huh, what's the matter, Dobi? Sad that you'll never be as good as me? Don't make me laugh, you'll never be as good as an Uchiha. Sasuke laughed at Naruto. Hey, what's your problem, Sasuke? Why don't you buzz off to your fan club and leave me alone? Oh, you mean them? They're nothing but worthless trash. Sasuke boasted, knowing he would get on Naruto's nerves. Don't talk about Sakura like that, you idiot. Naruto insulted towards Sasuke. Fine, let's make bet, Dobi. We'll fight each other. If I win, you have to say whatever I want you to say about your Sakura right to her face. And if I win, you won't, but since you asked, it will be the same for me. So deal? Deal. Both combatants got into their fighting stances, which were the same since they knew only one from the academy. Neither of them were experts, but they had decent taijutsu for their ages. Naruto lunged first, aiming for Sasuke's shoulder, but was blocked by the Uchiha's arm. Sasuke tried then to counter, but Naruto dodged at the right time. The fight went on for several minutes, each of them trying to outlast the other, but both had amazing stamina and speed. At this point the fight had attracted the attention of mostly every student there and the attention of one IT specialist who was hiding away in the trees. So this is that Gaki from before. Let's see if he's any good or not. Anko had been enjoying the fight and seeing what the future generation of shinobi would be like. That's when she saw signs of Sasuke becoming tired and frustrated. He was lowering his guard due to exhaustion and had lost focus. That's when Naruto punched him as hard as he could, causing Sasuke to fall down onto the ground. Oh! The crowd erupted, thinking it was all over. Is that all you got? Asked Naruto, breathing hard. Ouch! That's gotta hurt. Anko chuckled to herself. Sasuke was now beyond furious. He couldn't believe he let himself get hit so hard by the dead last. He picked himself up and let his anger fuel his next actions. You're so dead, Naruto. Sasuke responded. Sasuke pulled out a kunai from a pouch and brandished it with the intent to kill. Sasuke, what are you doing? This wasn't part of the bet. To hell with that. You're going to die. Sasuke shouted as he lunged at him, kunai in hand. Naruto dodged with his body, trying to avoid the sharp blade. Naruto was worried he could get seriously hurt, but Sasuke seemed to be attacking with rhythm or style, just swinging randomly. Meanwhile, Anko was contemplating intervening, but she wanted to see how the Gaki could handle himself when his life is on the line. Even though Sasuke was fighting blindly, Naruto was growing tired and couldn't last much longer. Sasuke finally managed to slash Naruto on his shoulder. Naruto felt the warm blood drip down and soak up in his jumpsuit. Only then Iruka happened by and noticed the commotion. He immediately ran to, disarmed, and pinned Sasuke to the ground. Sasuke, what the hell do you think you're doing? You could have killed him. Iruka shouted with a newfound strength from protecting his favorite student. That was the point. He deserved it. Still, Sasuke, we don't draw weapons on comrades. No matter who they are. Iruka calmed down once he determined Sasuke was no longer a threat to Naruto. Sasuke remained quiet once realized he'd done wrong. Naruto, are you okay? Let's get you patched up. Iruka asked with a protective voice. It hurts, but I'll be fine. Naruto instinctively felt his wound to realize it was already closed up, just a scar remained. Iruka then said out into the crowd, "Alright, all of you, class is dismissed, go home." Everyone left, leaving only Sasuke, Iruka, and Naruto. Alright, now what am I gonna do with you two? Iruka sighed. Iruka then took the two boys into Hokage's office. Normally this wouldn't be normal procedure, but since the Hokage was Naruto's adoptive grandson, since he knew his parents so well. Hokage-sama, I'm sorry to disturb, it's about Naruto, Iruka said respectively. Ah yes, I know what happened, please come in. Hiruzen said with a frown. How did you KN? He was cut off. An old man has his ways. Anyway, let's discuss what happened. He responded with a smirk. Well, it seems to me that Naruto and Sasuke entered an agreement with each other, and once Naruto had beat him, Sasuke lost his temper and drew a weapon on him with intent to kill. Iruka said. Yes, I agree, Hiruzen nodded. Now for your punishment. Lucky for both of you, I was told of your fight showed a high degree of skill for the both of you, so I'll let you off with a warning. But don't take my kindness for weakness, because if this happens again you will regret it. Is that understood? The Hokage spoke with a voice demanding respect. Yes, sir, Naruto and Sasuke responded in unison. As both left the office to return home, Sasuke spoke to Naruto. Naruto. I'm sorry, he said slowly, he was never good with apologies. I shouldn't have lost it like that, and I want to let you know that. Ever since I lost my family, I've felt like pressure to become stronger to avenge my clan, but it seems in doing that I lost sight of what matters. Sasuke looked down and shed a tear. He may have been a prideful Uchiha, but he was still a boy. Sasuke, it's okay, I understand, I felt that way too at one point. But right now let's help each other get stronger instead of pushing each other down. Got it? Naruto held out his hand in a handshake that looked like an arm wrestle. You bet, Sasuke spoke proudly and met the handshake with his own hand. Two major events happened because of that incident. One is where a bond of friendship like no other was born, and second is where a fire was rekindled inside his heart, and it burned twice as bright as it did before in his boyhood days. It was now approaching dusk and Naruto was on his way back home. But what he didn't notice was Shadow following him. Anko was on the rooftops following the boy head home. She had taken a liking to the brat. He reminded her of herself when she was younger, fighting the toughest people just to prove to herself she was worthy of respect of her peers. She had been dazed in her flashback so long she completely lost Naruto. Shit, where did that Gaki go? Naruto had just took the final turn to his building and could see his home in sight when he was suddenly grabbed and thrown into an alley. Hello little demon. One of two men spoke. We're gonna make you suffer for what you did. The other said. Naruto was paralyzed with fear. There was two ninja with black masks in front of him who were gonna kill him and there was nothing he could do. He was too weak from fighting Sasuke to put up any form of resistance. Then one of them pulled out a large baton that spiked and rough-edged. Wait please, I haven't done anything wrong, said a quivering Naruto with tears in his eyes. Huh, he doesn't know, does he? Oh well, let me explain to you why you're gonna die before you go back to hell. Call it your last request. It all started 12 years ago when the Kyuubi attacked the village and when the Yondaime supposedly killed it. The Yondaime sacrificed his life to protect his village from the monster that was destroying it. The problem is, there is no way to kill a tailed beast. The best anyone can do is just seal it into a newly born baby. Guess who that baby was? You. Now do you understand? Why we all hate you, why we fear you, why we want you to return to hell from where you came. Naruto's world shattered. All this time he was the demon that killed almost the whole village long ago and it was all his fault. He deserved to die, he wanted to die. He now knew why the villagers hated him, why Hinata stared at him, why his Sakura-chan would never love him, why he had no one to turn to. It's because he hurt them all. The two men laughed as saw a burned, battered, and broken Naruto lie bleeding out and sobbing, somehow remaining awake by some miracle. All they said was, "Good riddance," as they left the alley leaving Naruto to die. Naruto could only think of all the people that hated him. He kept sobbing because of that. He thought that this is how his final day on Earth would be. He would never be Hokage, the village will forget him, and that all he was, just the dead last brat that died early. 5 minutes later, Anko had still been searching for him when she heard the faint sounds of a child crying. She would have to hurry up if she wanted to find Naruto, but the cries and sobs wouldn't allow her to leave, so she turned to investigate. Damn my bleeding heart, she mumbled to herself as she was just about to turn into the alley. What she saw next, however, shocked her to the core. She could see him there, Naruto laying in a pool of blood. Naruto! She cried out to him as she rushed to his side. When he saw her face, his final piece of willpower keeping awake broke. He fell unconscious into her arms that were carrying him into the nearest hospital. He was bleeding out fast, even with the Kyuubi's chakra working to save his lifeline. If he wasn't given proper medical treatment fast, he would die. Anko burst through the doors of the medical center, grabbing the attention of many doctors and nurses. She stood there for a second when she broke the silence and said, "I need a goddamn doctor right now." 2 nurses rushed towards her with a gurney and helped Naruto onto it. Anko then threatened, "This boy is now your lifeline, if he dies you die. Clear? Now go." The nurses gulped and turned to run him into the inside a flooded chamber. Time. Naruto gasped for air and felt his body but felt no wounds. He then took to look at his surroundings. He was in some kind of chamber. Then suddenly he thought, am I dead? Is this heaven? Or is this hell? Naruto felt a chill at that thought. He was a demon after all, maybe this was his hell for eternity. Naruto? Come to me, Naruto. A chilling voice rang out in an echo. What? Scratch coming to you. Who are you? Naruto spoke, hoping he didn't know the answer. I will explain later, now go through those doors. Naruto turns to see a double door set. Okay, I'll trust you, but you better not be the Shinigami tricking me into your clutches. Naruto joked, trying to ease his own nerves and the intensity of the situation. Funny. A fresh change of pace from the last human I knew, it responded. Naruto opened the doors to see a vast empty room that seems to a cell for someone or something. Then something appears behind the bars. A fox, but not any fox. This fox was bigger than famed Akamichi's super expansion jutsu. Wow, you're a big fella, aren't ya? Naruto joked until he realized who he was talking to. Ha ha ha. The beast laughed. Even in the face of Kyuubi no Kitsune, you still laugh. You are a bold one, Naruto. The fox spoke, slightly calming Naruto's nerves to say this to his face. You're the reason why everyone hates me, you bastard. Naruto shouted. He found himself in front of the being responsible for making his life a living hell, and demon or no demon, he sure as hell isn't backing off from him. You can hate me, Naruto, I understand why, but please let me tell you the whole truth before you give me your whole judgment. You got 5 minutes, better make 'em count. Naruto spoke, holding back all the anger that he could muster. Thank you, 12 years ago I attacked Konoha, that much is true. But I never meant to attack your village. I was under the Sharingan Genjutsu of Madara Uchiha. The fox spoke quickly. Naruto knew who Madara was, became increasingly upset when they realized the fox was pulling his leg. I sense your doubt, I assure you it was Madara. He is the only one who could have the willpower to dominate mine and place me under his jutsu. Okay. You told me your side, I need to think about this first, I'll let you know my choice when we next speak. But for now, how do I get out of here? Thank you Naruto, all I ask for is a chance. But to answer your question, it's simple, just wake up, the fox answered plainly. Really? That's it? Yes, it is that simple. Okay then, well, before I go, one more thing, what is your name? My name? Hey, funny, after 1,000 years of my existence no mortal has yet asked me of my name. You surprise me still. Very well, my name is Kurama. Goodbye then Kurama, Naruto said with a smile. Konoha General Hospital, 9:30 a.m. Naruto wakes up feeling groggy and weak, everything hurts for him right now. He looks towards the left and is met with a blinding sunlight. Squinting, he turns away from the blinds to spot a sleeping woman in the chair to the right. Huh? Who are you? Wait a minute, she's that woman from before. Naruto sits up when he realizes all the commotion woke Anko up. Yawn. Anko's eyes lock to Naruto's and open up. You're awake. She runs to his side and hugs him. Naruto was dumbfounded here. He was the most hated person in Konoha, and a person he barely knew had saved him from death and had slept in a hospital waiting for him to recover. But why? He asked her. What do you mean? She asked back. Why did you save me? He asked, expecting to her answer to be a selfish response. Because I care about you. Gaki, don't ask such stupid questions, she told him, looking at him with a confused face. Really? You really care about me? Of course Gaki, I really do care about you. Now if you keep saying these things I'm gonna knock you out again. Naruto felt an emotion he's never felt before, it felt so nice. He'll never forget when he found his first friend. When he learned he really was important. Naruto, now overwhelmed with happiness, hugged Anko and began to bawl into her chest. She only hugged him tighter and shed a tear because she finally found someone to let go of her mask to. The only words he managed to say before he fell asleep due to the sheer emotion overload was, "Thank you." She only responded with, "You're welcome." Konoha General Hospital. Time 10 a.m. After a full week of rest from the traumatic experience he underwent, Naruto will finally be released from the hospital. Although, he would need crutches to walk as his right knee hasn't fully healed. But Naruto didn't worry about that. He was happy to make it out alive and meet an amazing person that he would cherish for the rest of his days. Anko was to him the nicest person he had ever met. She would tell him stories of her genin days, bring him Ichiraku ramen when he was hungry, and tell the funniest secrets of his teachers and Jonin senseis. So yeah Gaki, that's how Iruka tried to ask me out. Safe to say he never felt safe around me with a kunai ever again. Anko spoke, chewing on dango in her mouth. Man, really? He never hear the end of it from me. Naruto laughed, slurping on some ramen. Don't be too hard on him Gaki. We were only kids. Young and dumb, as they say. Anko responded. Alright, I guess you're right. Besides, he is the best teacher in the academy, it wouldn't be right to do that. Naruto was still in shock of how this woman was totally different in her personal life, but then again he was too. He may have seemed to be a juvenile punk who couldn't care less about the rules, but he truly cared about his studies and progression to become a ninja. After signing the necessary paperwork, Naruto was released from the hospital and free to return home. Though he would not be able to perform in spars because of his injured leg. So he would have to make it up for it when he got better. But now was not the time to think about that. Naruto limped his way home with Anko. While they were walking, they received ugly stares and overheard murmurs of, "the demon," and "snake whore." Naruto couldn't help but wincing at every comment, and he began to despise the villagers even more than before. Not at the insults directed at him as he was used to it, but at those directed towards Anko. How can anyone say such mean things towards the nicest woman in the world? I promise you Anko-chan, I'll make them eat their words. He looked at her as he thought. Anko could tell what he was thinking, and when she looked back, she smiled at him. And upon seeing this, Naruto's anger and worry vanished in an instant, like it was never there in the first place. This only added to Naruto's wonder of this so-called nicest woman in the world. As they walked along they were chatting and kept casual conversation until they reached Naruto's apartment. "It's just up here, Anko," he said while reaching for his keys. "So this where you live, huh?" she said, looking around the worn-down walls and old carpet. "Hey, that rent is cheap at least, and it's that bad," he responded to find his door was slightly askewed open. "Oh no," he could only say as he opened his to discover a trashed apartment before him. "Stay behind me, Naruto," she spoke quickly as she drew a kunai and prepared to enter to the apartment. The smell of burned garbage and burned clothes filled the room. Naruto could only look in shock as room by room, his home had been destroyed. That apartment had been his only safe haven from the outside world, and it was gone. Taken away from him within a heartbeat. As Anko finished her search, Naruto looked down in sadness. He didn't cry, he won't cry. He really didn't want to show that side of himself to Anko, but with all the emotions inside he couldn't help but shed a tear. Seeing this, Anko stooped down to his level and spoke in a loving and all-knowing voice, "Naruto, it's okay to cry, I won't judge you for it. Not one bit, okay?" Anko hated seeing him like this, the spitting image of herself crying over the same problems she cried over. But she wouldn't let him become like her. She told him to let it out because she knew firsthand of the effects of bottling up one's emotions like that. Naruto let the floodgates loose onto Anko and she welcomed him with open arms. She knew it would take a lot of work, but she was ready to go the extra mile and back for Naruto. After what seemed like eternity to the both of them, they both stood up high, at least as high Naruto could with his injured knee. "Naruto, I want you to see what you can salvage and then pack everything up. It's moving day," Anko said with an upbeat voice. "Move? Move to where?" Naruto asked with genuine confusion. "To my place, of course. Where else would you go?" Anko now spoke in a know-it-all voice. "No, wait, I couldn't do that to you, Anko. You already have to take care of yourself. I don't want to be burdened like that to you." Naruto countered. "Ah, don't worry about it. I promise you, every little thing is gonna be alright. Got that?" She continued with her chain of positivity. "Alright." Naruto returned her ray of sunshine with his own. October 26th, Mitarashi Residence, 6 p.m. It had been a full week since Naruto moved into Anko's apartment, but Naruto was finally settling into living with another person. They both agreed to have him sleep on the couch, and use a spare wardrobe for his clothes. Naruto, to show his ever-growing gratitude to her, woke every morning very early and made breakfast for her. Although he may not seem like it, he was a very good chef even though he taught himself. Anko would always remark on his good his food was. He would just shrug it off and pretend it was nothing, though the faintest blush would appear every time he heard her compliments. He would do the same with dinner too. Anything he could do to help ease the stress off her day he would happily do without a doubt. Thanks to the Kyuubi's chakra, Naruto's leg had finally healed and he was back in tip-top shape. He would soon return to his academy sparring with his fellow classmates. His relationships with his fellow classmates had been moving up too. When given the chance, Naruto had the uncanny ability to make friends. He learned all about his classmates, like how Shikamaru was really good at strategy games like chess or shogi, or the story of how Kiba and his dog, Akamaru, met. All in all, Naruto was truly special in bringing others together. "Hello? Guess who's home?" Anko asked after opening the door to the apartment. "Hey, over here." Naruto spoke from the kitchen. "Hey, what you cooking there, Gaki?" she asked, smelling a similar aroma that made her excited. "You mean what I cooked for you?" "Oh, it's nothing special," he said sarcastically as he revealed a dish that made Anko's mouth water at the sight of it. "No way," she responded giddily, like a little girl on her birthday. "Way," he responded confidently. "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you," Anko exclaimed. For each "thank you," she gave him a small kiss, with the last being longer than the rest. Unbeknownst to her, however, Naruto was blushing more red than the hottest fire jutsu, and he had a big problem down there. But luckily she was too busy feasting on her delicious dango treats to notice. She couldn't believe that she had found a dango better than the ones she'd spend way too much on at the bar she frequented. She was nearly brought to tears by how much it reminded her of her childhood and the first time she tasted dango. "Gaki," she said. "Yes?" he replied. "This was the best dango I've ever had in my life." She spoke awestruck at the pure amazingness of Naruto's cooking. "Huh, I'm glad you liked it," He laughed and placed his hand on his neck. "Oh, and Gaki, one more thing," she said. "Yeah? From now on I'm gonna need to have that dango every day when I come home, capiche?" She said, smiling as she went into her room to change out of her trench coat and put on a loose t-shirt. "Yes ma'am," he said laughingly. Naruto on the outside just grinned and took her plate to wash it and store it. But on the inside he was beaming. He was incredibly happy to serve Anko her favorite treat, and he would be happy to serve her it every day. "Alright, I knew she would like it," he thought to himself. "Now how am I gonna make that dango every day? I think I just screwed myself." He sighed, and I hoped he would figure it out. October 27th. Konoha Ninja Cadet Academy. 4 p.m. Alright class, that's it for today. I want you all to start practicing for your genin exams. Your exam will be in 2 months. I cannot stress this enough, please practice. Iruka said as he prepared to dismiss the class. "Yes, Iruka-sensei," the class shouted in unison. "Okay then, dismissed," Iruka said, beckoning Naruto with his hand. "Yes, Iruka-sensei?" Naruto asked. "Naruto, I want to let you know to not worry about your exam. I'll make sure you won't be cheated of your genin status." "Thank you, Iruka-sensei, it means a lot to me to know that." He smiled. "But don't think you're out of the forest yet. You still need to practice the clone jutsu. That is a must to pass." "Yes, sir," he spoke, realizing he would still need to work hard to become a genin. "Very well. You may go," Iruka said, proud of how far Naruto has grown. Naruto exits the classroom and proceeds to the training ground, hoping to master the clone jutsu to get it out of the way. However, try as he might, he could never get the jutsu down. It would always end up as a pale imitation of Naruto. He tries to funnel more chakra into it to see if that would work. But that only made it worse. Then he placed the tiniest amount of chakra into it. He found to his excitement an actual clone, but his joy was shot down when the clone dissipated after its first step. By process of elimination, he figured the clone received too much chakra and couldn't handle it. He would have to learn better chakra control. Then an idea snapped to his head. Why don't I ask Gigi? He knows a lot about these types of jutsu, he thought. Little did he know he would learn his most iconic jutsu that day. He went into the Hokage tower, past the receptionist, and to the door of the Hokage. Just as he was about to knock, he heard Tilda. "Come on in, Naruto," the all-knowing Hokage said. "You know, I always wonder how you know all these things. An old man has his secrets, Naruto," he would always say. "That's what you always say," he said. "Because it is always true," he chuckled. "Well, let's get down to business. What is it that you need?" he asked. "Okay then, well, I need help doing the clone jutsu. I seem to always use more chakra than required, and it leads to the clone just being ghostly and pale." "I see," he responded. "The Kyuubi must be giving him loads of chakra to work with, thus his subpar chakra control." "Well, Naruto, the problem seems to be your chakra control." "Yeah, I figured it would be that." He placed his hand behind his head. "Let me think here to see if I could find a solution your problem here." The old Hokage placed his hand on his chin and shut his eyes. "Well, I could just refer him a teacher to train with." "No, it would be too difficult to find a non-bigoted ninja to teach him." "How about just teach him myself?" "Again, no, I have too much of a workload to teach him anything." "Maybe the jutsu is at fault here. That's it. Instead of using a technique that uses way too little chakra, I'll give him something that uses more chakra." "1,000 pardons, Tobirama-sensei, but I believe this is the time that should pass on one of your most famed jutsu." "I've got it, Naruto. Please watch me for a moment." "Okay," he said in anticipation. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Suddenly 2 more Hokages appeared out of thin air. "Whoa, that's cool. Can you teach me that jutsu?" "Yes, I can, Naruto, but before I do so you must promise me not to teach it to anyone else." The Shadow Clone Jutsu is a very powerful technique, so powerful that if it were to get in the wrong hands, it could mean danger to the village. "Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," he said, standing straight. "Okay then, now funnel your chakra and create this sign after me." After an hour of practicing, Naruto was finally able to create multiple stable and sufficient shadow clones. Sarutobi was new. Naruto was a fast learner but was surprised to see a jutsu he mastered in after days of practice was mastered in the same degree in an hour. He smiled at the future shinobi and thought about his predecessors and how they would be shocked to see such a feat. Especially Tobirama Senju, the man who created the shadow clone technique. "Thank you, Gigi," I'm sure to pass the Genin exam now. It is no problem at all, Naruto, but please try to handle these problems on your own. It's not that I don't enjoy your company, but I have too much work to really teach you effectively. Okay, I get it. But couldn't use the shadow clones to do the work for you? Well, anyways, I have to go now, see ya. Hiruzen just sat there cursing himself at his short-sightedness. He palmed his face and chuckled. Well, Tobirama-sensei, I believe we both been played for fools by a boy who just learned one of the most powerful jutsus ever created. I can't wait to see your face when we meet again in the afterlife. After all, that boy will be the most worthy successor I will ever see. Then for the first time in 20 years he sat back, relaxed, and summoned 15 clones to let them finish the work. Naruto, after leaving the tower, begins to test his new ability. He decides the best way to do that is to test it against one of his classmates in a spar. He heads to the training ground to see if he could find one of his classmates training and challenge them. He came to the closest training ground to find Shino and Kiba training while Hinata standing close by but not doing anything. He soon greets them. Hey guys, I see that you're training hard. Huh? He said. Hey Naruto. Yeah, we are. Like Iruka-sensei said, the exam's just around the corner. Kiba responded. Yes indeed, I intend to pass them with flying colors, Shino agreed. Good, well how about a spar? I want to test out a new jutsu I learned. Well I guess you're out of luck. Me and Shino were about to start our own spar, you're welcome to fight the winner though. Nah, I want to fight someone at 100% thanks anyway. Wait, might I suggest Hinata to spar with you? Me? Well I don't know, she interjected when she heard her name. Come on Hinata, you need to get better too. Kiba argued. Well okay, I'll give it my best, she said with a pout. Naruto didn't like Hinata, not because of her eyes, her looks, or skill as a shinobi. Because he thought she hated him, which couldn't be further from the truth. Hinata admired his ability to never give up. However, her shyness brought him to think that she was just another one of the people that wouldn't accept him. What confirmed it to him was that when his leg was broken, all his other friends would say their condolences to him and tell him not to worry. Hinata, however, just stood by and watched him while smiling. This led him to believe that she enjoyed watching him in pain. Naruto considered her to be someone to avoid. Okay, on my mark. 1.2.3. Begin, Shino announced, starting the fight. Alright, here we go. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Multiple Narutos appeared out of mid-air and began to surround Hinata. Then they came one by one. Hinata was barely able to fend off a few of them, so she was completely overrun when all of them rushed her. They were punching and kicking. Hinata was only able to block a few hits before she dropped to the ground. You hate me, don't you? You always stare at me and I know why. You think I'm a demon, right? What do you mean, Naruto? Shut it, I'll show you the demon in me. Naruto, wait, please don't hurt me. I don't hate you, I like you. She put her hands to cover her face. Naruto paused and realized what he was about to do. All the clones dissipated and Naruto crouched down to hold her. Hinata, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, I just got caught up in feeling against you. I thought you hated me? How could I hate you, Naruto? I love your determinedness, and how you always keep your promises. Now he was the one who was without words. At that moment he realized how the beautiful Hinata was in his arms and with tears in her eyes from her fear. Her eyes like the purest of snow, her hair was smooth like a baby's skin. Naruto ran off, unable to handle the guilt he felt. He wiped the tears from his face with one tear sparkling with the light hitting it. Man, what's with that guy? Kiba asked, placing his hand on the back of his head. Naruto. Hinata looked at him as he ran. October 27th, Mitarashi Residence, 6 p.m. Naruto returned home after some thinking. He felt bad for letting his rage and anger get to him like that. Especially after he realized it was directed towards the wrong person. He promised himself never to hurt anyone like that again. But he also felt some weird feeling when he thought about Hinata. It was even stronger than what he felt about Sakura. He didn't know what to do. He felt so terrible hurting a friend like that. He thought she was so beautiful. On the other hand, he felt that Hinata deserved someone better than him. Naruto prepared the dango for Anko that night in silence. He would go apologize the next day in class. But for now something else plagued his mind. The conversation he had with the Kyuubi when he was under the knife. He had not really thought about it at all. But he knew he would have to face it eventually. So he chose to go to someone he trusts, Anko. He would ask her while she was eating her dango. He thought it would go down without much problem, but he would soon realize that he was in for a wild ride of questioning. And on cue Anko arrived home and said, "Hey Gaki, I'm back. You better have that sweet, delicious, wonderful dango ready by the time change, because if you don't you are sure gonna regret it." She said happily. "Yes ma'am," he said. He placed the dish on the table and prepares to tell her about his problem. Anko comes out wearing t-shirt and sits at the table and says, "Oh yes, come to mama." She then munches on the dango sticks with no end. Anko, can I ask your opinion on something?" he asks. Sure Gaki, what's up?" she says, chewing. "Well, I want to tell you that when I was in surgery when you saved me, I was in a dream state talking to the Kyuubi no Kitsune, and I want to ask you if I should believe what he told me." She spat out her food comically and shouted, "What?" "Well, I mean I think he means well, but tell me everything he told you right now." Naruto then received in questioning akin to an interrogation from her. She asked every question that could come to mind, no holds barred. He answered every single one without holding any detail back. Finally, she ends with, "We have to tell Lord Hokage about this." Naruto could only respond with, "I know, but could we save for tomorrow? I'm really tired from everything that happened today." And how could he not be? He woke up, went to the academy, learned a new jutsu from the Hokage himself, got into an emotional struggle with a person he thought hated him, and undergone an hour-long interrogation session with the most feared IT specialist in the village, though she was not going all the way. Anybody would be tired after that. "Alright, but you best believe I am not dropping this. Now come here, you little cutie you." She gave him a hug and when he least expected picked him up and brought him to her room. "You are gonna stay right here with me tonight and be my personal huggable boy toy, got that?" Naruto, being an innocent 12-year-old, had no idea what the phrase, boy toy, meant, so he just rolled with it. Only to find out it meant exactly what he thought it meant. All she did was snuggle and hold him tight. He definitely needed after what he'd gone through. It was a good night. Naruto's eyes fluttered trying to wake up, but upon opening his eyes completely, he snapped to attention when realized his was face first in between the rather large breasts of Anko Mitarashi. Also, her hands had completely surrounded him, so he had no escape from the rather appealing position he awoke in. Deciding not to test his luck, Naruto carefully looked up to see Anko sleeping rather comfortably. Anko-chan looks so pretty when she is sleeping. I almost want to just go up there and kiss her right now. But she's sleeping right now and I don't want to disturb her. I guess a hug will be okay. He placed his right arm around her so that his hand touched her back. He then squeezed and nuzzled his head into Anko's chest. From the commotion and the feeling of something at her back, Anko woke to find a puff of blonde hair at her chin and something poking at her chest. "So the Gaki thinks he could pull one on me, huh? I'm gonna make sure he remembers not to take advantage of what he's given." Anko quickly pulls his face into her chest and wraps her legs around him tightly. Naruto starts to squirm over the amount pressure his face is receiving. What's the matter? Just wanted you to enjoy the view," she said sarcastically. "MMPH. Can't breathe," was all she could make out in his response. "I'll let you go if you say you're sorry." She spoke looking down at the cute little blonde before her. "MMMPH. I'm sorry," he muffled in defeat. "Good." She released him from his tomb. Naruto gasped for air when he was freed of his entrapment. Come on, I didn't hold you for that long. Now you best not try that again or else the consequences will be much more dire." She chastised him. "I'm sorry Anko-chan, I didn't mean it like that. You were just really pretty when you were sleeping, so I wanted to hug you real bad." He spoke looking down. Anko noticed the truthfulness in his voice. "Okay fine, you get off this time, only because you called me pretty. But if I catch you again, you won't be safe." "Thank you Anko-chan," he smiled. Anko felt good when he heard him say, "Chan." She felt glad that she meant a lot to him. "Well, I suppose it's time to get up now. Get ready because we're going straight to Hokage-sama about what we talked about last night." Naruto got up and cooked breakfast for the two. After enjoying their meal, the pair gets dressed to see the old Hokage. They left together to make their way to the Hokage's office. They arrived at the door when once again the Hokage spoke. "Yes Anko, Naruto, come on in." He spoke all-knowingly. They opened the door chuckling at old Sarutobi's ability to sense who's about to see him. Yes, what do you need today? Naruto? Anko?" he asked. "Well Gigi, we wanted to talk to you about something that happened while I was under surgery." Naruto said, trying to think on how to phrase his next sentence. Well, spit it out then. What happened? He spoke unamused. Well, I sort of talked to the Kyuubi no Kitsune while unconscious. Naruto decided not to beat around the bush. I see, he said, then suddenly, wait, what did you just say? My reaction exactly, Hokage-sama, Anko said, agreeing with his shock. Naruto, I need you to tell me exactly what he told you. I cannot express how important this is to the safety of the village. Naruto then explained his situation to the old Hokage, sparing no detail. He seems to be actually very friendly, and he seems to be incredibly sorry for being forced to attack Konoha. Yes, it would explain the sightings of the Sharingan on the fox's eyes during the attack. But still, Madara Uchiha, how is he still alive? A troubled Hiruzen spoke. Hashirama-sensei, I suspect something evil is afoot. I can only hope that you can guide us from the other side. Well, I think we could trust him, Hokage-sama. Naruto has a way with determining a being's true nature. Anko said without missing a beat. Well then, Naruto, have you tried to contact him at all after the incident at all? To be honest, no. I never really thought about that. I think maybe the best way to try to talk is use his chakra. He chuckled. Well, it is settled then. We will secure you, then you will tap the Kyuubi's chakra, and attempt to communicate with the Nine Tails. He said decisively. Hokage-sama, what do you mean, secure? Anko asked. I was afraid you'd ask that. Well, to make sure that the Kyuubi doesn't attempt to break free from Naruto's body, we'll have to use a chakra sealing prison on him, so if worse comes to worse we'd be safe. No way. I won't let you do that to Naruto-kun. She immediately blushed at her outburst. I mean with respect. Hokage-sama, you seriously don't mean to do that to Naruto. I understand the risks, Anko-chan. Thank you for looking out for me, but this is something I gotta do. Naruto spoke up with a fire in his eyes. Still, Naruto, you're still an academy student. There is no chance in hell you could walk out the same after the chakra sealing prison. Trust me, I've what it can do to some people. She rebutted. That is very much true, Naruto. You need to become stronger in order to handle the burden of the Kyuubi's chakra. Naruto had completely blanked out, trying to tune out a noise in his head, but it was blaring louder than an alarm. He tried to close his eyes, when suddenly he blacked out. Hey, Gaki. When the Hokage is speaking to you, you better damn well listen. Anko chastised him. When his eyes reopened, they were red as a crimson moon and instantly locked to the Hokage's. Naruto. The Hiruzen shouted, alarmed at the sudden appearance of darker whiskers and longer nails. 4 Anbu black ops flickered into view surrounding Naruto with kunai to his neck to protect the Hokage. Tell your men to lower their weapons. I do not want to fight you, only talk. Naruto spoke in a deep demonic voice. Do as he says, Hiruzen responded while staring Naruto's red eyes down. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, are you sure? The captain spoke in a monotonous voice. Now, he ordered. Yes, Hokage-sama, they all replied in unison. Now where were we? The Hokage asked while looking at him with malice. Yes, of course, Lord Hokage. Let us continue. The two talked about the past and the attack 12 years ago. The tension remained high throughout the entire conversation. Soon the topic came to Madara Uchiha. So are you sure that it was Madara Uchiha that had brought you that attack the leaf? Yes, that Uchiha bastard was always fickle in his Genjutsu use. So what happens now? What will you do? Will you help Naruto? Or hinder him? I will assist the boy, for now, as it suits my interests to see him grow strong. Very well then, Fox. I know better than to try you any further. I'd best be returning control to Naruto now. This seal the Yondaime created is a strong one. Naruto's eyes closed and he fell to the floor. His eyes flickered red and blue before he passed out completely. Naruto. Anko rushed to his side. He is okay, Anko, take him home and have him rest. Hiruzen spoke calmly. Okay, thank you, Hokage-sama. Anko picked him up and flickered out of the room. October 28th. Flooded chamber. Naruto's eyes fluttered open. He awoke to find himself back in the same chamber he was in when he met the Kyuubi. Understanding his situation, he went to the same door as before and opened it. Ah, you're back, young Naruto. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Hello, Kurama. I'm back, I guess. But I made my choice. I've decided to trust your words and I hope we can become friends. Naruto, I'm glad. So glad that I want to give you my power. Awesome. Where do we begin? he said eagerly. Patience. You must become stronger to handle all the chakra I can give you. Or else your body will be permanently damaged and you may never be able to harness chakra at all. However, you can still handle a fraction of my power. First, you must be a fully trained ninja, then you may come to me for your training. Quote, okay then, well then I'll come back later then. One more thing, Naruto. Fist bump me. The fox held out his fist past the cage. Why? Trust me. Naruto did as he was told and received a voice in his head. Hello Naruto, I've established a neural link between us. I can now talk to you through your thoughts. If you ever need to talk in the outside world, just think and I'll be there. Hey thanks. He smiled. No problem, now wake up. And he did in the comfort of Anko's bed. It was seeming to be a common thing for him to sleep in her bed. Weird. He got out to find an empty apartment. He whipped himself up a snack to feed himself and to pass the time. I wonder where Anko-chan is. Probably doing something important. He then sat down on the couch and laid down. Well, I should find something to do while I have some downtime. Wait, Hinata, I have to go apologize to her. He stood up as he thought about the Hyuga girl. Maybe I should buy her flowers or something. Maybe chocolates? He thought, not realizing what kind message he wants to send and the message he would send. Yeah, perfect. That will make her feel better. Naruto lifted his head in excitement. He left and locked the apartment while leaving a note for Anko so she wouldn't worry about his absence. Alright, first the flowers and I know just who to go to. A bell ringed as Naruto entered the flower shop. Hello and welcome to the Yamanaka flower shop. My name's Ino and I'll be assisting you today. Ino said in a monotonous voice while looking down. Hi Ino, how are you? Naruto said, trying to be friendly and cheer up her obviously bad day. Ino looked up at the familiar voice. Oh Naruto, it's you. I'm good, thanks for asking, what can I help you with? She smiled at him. Ino felt indifferent towards Naruto. She admired his courage and persistence, plus she thought he was cute when he protected his friends. Well, I need to buy flowers for a friend. Ooh, who's the lucky girl? She said, intrigued. Hinata, he replied plainly. Hinata, huh? Well, I have something perfect for her, she'll love it. Okay, let's see them, he said. Follow me, she beckoned him. Ino led Naruto to the back where she kept the majority of her flowers. Here they are, let's go back up front so I can put them in a bouquet for you. As they went back to the counter, Naruto noticed the beauty of the flowers. They were the same color as Hinata's hair and looked akin to roses. Wow, these look great Ino. I'm sure she'll love them. How much do I owe you? Naruto brought out his wallet. It's on the house Naruto. Call it a thanks for cheering me up. Thanks Ino, I really appreciate it. He smiled at her kindness. No prob. Well, see ya. Goodbye Ino, thanks again. He left after hearing the same bell as he did before. Now to find Hinata, he thought on where Hinata would be. Maybe she is at the Hyuga clan estate, that's where I would be. The idea popped into his head. Naruto began walking towards the estate, trying to phrase out an apology in his head. He tried to come up with one before he got there. It would be pretty awkward if he got right to her and fumbled like she would. Within what seemed to be a span 5 minutes he arrived at the huge, fearsome estate. Here we are, he gulped in his mind. The look and size the place was intimating to say the least. Suddenly 2 Hyuga clansmen flickered into view in front of Naruto. He jumped at their sudden appearance. State your name and your business, boy, one said, keeping his stoic face. Naruto Uzumaki, and I would like to see Hinata please. He said, frightened. Wait here, the other ordered in a deep voice as he flickered out of view. An unbearable silence passed between the two. Naruto tried to make small talk but was denied every time by the same silence. Far off in the distance, the same man appeared in front of another man who was meditating. Hiyashi-sama, a young boy named Naruto Uzumaki is here and wishes to speak to Hinata-sama. He said with a deep bow. The demon child requests an audience with my daughter. He took a long pause and said, very well, bring him to me. I will decide his true intentions. Yes, Hiyashi-sama, he said as he flickered away. Suddenly again the man appeared and whispered to the other. Come with me. He turned towards the manor where Hinata lived. As Naruto walked throughout the manor he was shocked at the amount time and dedication was placed in the construction and upkeep of this place. Each Zen garden was perfect in its form and symmetry. The bonsai trees were trimmed down to the inch, and the homes were perfect in their shapes and structure. It truly was an estate befitting to the most powerful clan in Konoha. My lord, the boy as you requested. Ah yes, Naruto Uzumaki. Leave us, we have much to discuss. The man nodded as he flickered away to resume his duties. Now Naruto, what exactly are your intentions with my daughter? He asked. You must be Lord Hiyashi, it is an honor sir. He gave a bow for respect. Don't bow to me demon. Answer my question. He spoke coldly. Naruto knew there was a game-time decision to make. Either he tell the truth and run the risk of being killed by a man who has just learned his daughter was assaulted although unintentionally, by him, or he could lie and hope he would not see his deception to hope he could talk to Hinata in private to explain the situation and apologize the way he meant to. He chose the latter as his chances of surviving a beating from a gentle fist master was slim to none. I just wanted to give these to Hinata. Nothing else. He chuckled in the most unassuring, nervous fashion possible while motioning towards the flowers in his hands. I see. Well, I see no reason why to stop you. I will take you to Hinata's chambers. Then his voice went lifeless and evil. Be warned, Uzumaki, if you do anything towards her, there will be no one to hear you scream. Yes sir. He gulped. Follow me, he said, returning to his normal tone. Now Naruto got to the sea inside of the houses. Each room was crafted perfectly that complemented the house like the taste of cool, delicious, creamy ice cream on a hot summer day. Hinata, you have a visitor. Hiyashi opened into Hinata's room. A visitor? She wondered. Naruto appeared from behind the tall, white-eyed man. Naruto? She asked. Hi there Hinata. He grinned in his foxy grin. Well, I'll leave you to it then. Naruto, I suppose I will not need to remind you of our discussion, correct? Yes, don't worry at all. He chuckled nervously again. Very well. Hinata, Naruto. He left. Naruto broke the silence by offering the flowers and saying, Hinata, I want you to have these. I'm really sorry about what happened yesterday. I've been beating myself up mentally and I really want us to be friends. Naruto, I don't know what to say. These flowers are beautiful. Hinata blushed and stuttered. I really am sorry Hinata. I never should have assumed and judged you like the others do to me. Can you forgive me? He looked down in shame. Naruto, I forgive you. She paused. Thank you Hinata. He hugged her before she finished. Eep. She was startled at his sudden movements and her face turned red from being embraced by him. But soon she settled into his warmth. She found intense warmth in his arms. She caught a whiff of his clothes and was entranced from his scent. She then wrapped her arms tightly behind his back. She wanted so badly to look him dead in the eyes and kiss him with all she's had. The temptation proved to be too much for her. She released the hug and when Naruto looked down to her, her lips were an inch away when Hiyashi opened the door to the room. Hinata, it is time for your training. Come with. What? Father? She shrieked in fear. Shit, was his only thought when he realized he broke rule number 1 when dealing with powerful men's daughters. Don't ever get caught in a compromising position with her. Demon. How dare you try to desecrate my daughter? You will pay with your blood, boy. Naruto went into fight or flight mode. Though fighting was out of the question when he saw the Byakugan activate. This was not the first time Naruto ran away from an angry father or an angry person in general, so he had gotten pretty good at causing distractions and vanishing. He looked around and saw an open window. That was his escape from certain doom. He grabbed the flowers that were on the sidelines and threw them at the clan head. He then made a mad dash towards the window and jumped out the side. He then ran to the surrounding woods. Hiyashi, when he saw Naruto halfway into the woods, checked on his daughter and started to gather men for the search of the demon boy. Guards! To me! He shouted. Yes, Hiyashi-sama. What's wrong? Only a young boy had responded to his call of aid. You, Neji, you must go after him. The demon tried to attack Hinata. He went into the woods. Find him and bring him to me. You will be rewarded greatly with riches if you do so. Yes, Hiyashi-sama. He too jumped out of the window and ran in pursuit of Naruto. Time to test your merits, young Neji. If you succeed in defeating the demon at such an early age, there is no doubt in my mind you will be a worthy successor. He thought while remarking at his genius to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Naruto assumed that he would be pursued. He summoned 2 shadow clones to shake after his pursuers. He was recapping the events in his head. He didn't know how he felt about what Hinata was gonna do. He didn't know Hinata that way and he didn't know if he felt the same way or what he would have done when she kissed him. The time to think was over, for he heard the sound of a twig snap behind him. "You there! Halt!" Neji commanded. "Neji? What are you doing here? I must stop you, Naruto. It is the will of Lord Hiashi." "But how? How did you get past my shadow clones? My Byakugan sees past your deceptions. I don't want to fight you, Neji," he pleaded. "I must fight you, Naruto. Hiashi-sama has promised to give me wealth so I may return honor to the side branch." "Okay then, I really didn't want to do this but you leave me no choice." The combatants assumed their fighting positions. Neji getting into a gentle fist stance while Naruto remained in the academy stance. Neji had been practicing and by all means was considered a prodigy. But his skill with it was still far from being masterful. Naruto went all out with his shadow clones at the start. He was surprised to find Neji was more than capable of dispatching multiple clones at the same time. "You're pretty good," Naruto remarked at Neji's skills. "You also have a solid strategy, sending clones to attack me so you may discover a weakness in my fighting style. But I warn you, you will find none." Damn, he figured it out. He's good, I have to be careful. Naruto knew he wasn't going to learn anything new by waiting, so he rushed Neji at full speed. He experimented with different attacks to judge his reaction times and speed. He then backed off to think. Neji expected this and charged him with kunai in hand. Naruto was caught by surprise and was punished for it severely. He received a deep slash along his chest. He shouted in pain as blood rushed from his wound. "Hey Kurama, you in there? I could use some help here. I've been waiting for you to call on me. Let my chakra envelope you. You will keep full control over your actions." "Alright, I'm good to go." Suddenly a red glow covered Naruto's body, his eyes went red, his teeth and nails sharpened, and a red tail grew from his behind. "What is this?" asked a nervous Neji as he observed Naruto's chakra network turn from a light blue to a crimson red starting from his stomach. "I told you, Neji, I really didn't want to have to do this," he said with a deeper, demonic tone. "Still I must fight you, it is my destiny to beat you." But ironically Naruto destroyed Neji's defenses with immense speeds. Neji lost within seconds. For the final blow he uppercutted Neji, causing him to fall flat on his back. "I am defeated. My life is yours to take, Naruto." "To take? Neji, are you insane?" he scolded him. "You have a life to live, Neji, I could never take that from you. But it is your destiny to end me," he responded, holding on to his pride. "Get rid of that destiny crap, Neji. Your life is to make what you will of it. Don't ever let anyone take that from you." He held out his arm as the chakra dissipated around him. I see, thank you, Naruto. You've earned my respect. Don't mention it," he grinned foxily. Naruto ran off into the forest while Neji left to report to his superiors. October 28, Mitarashi Residence, 7:30 p.m. Naruto returned home after a longer time than he expected. He was only to be gone maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Instead he was gone 2 hours. This manifested when he was bombarded with questions by Anko. He told her about the awkward situation with the Hyuga clan and how they should avoid them from now on. He also told her about Hinata's attempt to kiss him. He told her that he didn't feel the same way and asked for advice. "Well, Gaki, there is no nice way to reject someone. There will be some tears involved, there always is. Let her down easy and use kind words. But with stuff like this, I can't guarantee your friendship will remain the same. The best thing you can hope for her is that she'll move on," she said. "Thanks," he replied. "Now we need to talk about you using the Kyuubi's chakra." "Yeah, what about it?" "To put it simply, I don't want you to use it unless you have to." "Okay, but why?" "I don't want you to become arrogant or greedy for power. I know how it can swallow you up and kill you inside. You are too good of a person to let that happen, so I want you to promise me not to use it again unless you have no other options left." Naruto of all people knew the value of hard work, so he agreed wholeheartedly, "I promise." They then talked about the upcoming genin exams and how they were rapidly closing in. Naruto was confident in his ability to pass and would try his hardest when the time came. "Alright then, well, you must be hungry after waiting so long. Let me make you something," he offered. "No, no, 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 no. I'll cook. You've earned a break. You did defeat a Hyuga, that's no regular feat," she countered. Naruto smiled at her compliment. He felt happy to make her proud. Soon after eating, the two settled down for the night. With Naruto, one again, being a living body pillow for Anko, and he couldn't be happier. Burring, Burn asterisk the monotone noise of an alarm was heard. Damn, already? I was just settling in. Oh well. His groggy thoughts ran in his mind. He was contemplating just shutting off the alarm and falling back asleep. Unfortunately, he didn't have that luxury, because today was the day. The day that would make or break Naruto's shinobi career. Today is the Genin exams. He would soon realize this fact after thinking over his day and what it had in store for him. Oh yeah, isn't the Genin exams today? He didn't even bat an eye for about 5 seconds until it hit him. Oh, shit, he cursed under his breath. Then he quickly but discreetly jumped out of bed, making sure Anko wouldn't wake from the movement, poured some cereal and a cup of juice, clothed himself in his iconic jumpsuit, checked on Anko one last time smiling at her cute sleeping position, and left the apartment to get to class early. With high spirits, Naruto went to the academy. After taking a seat, he spotted his classmates with nervous postures. He went over there in an attempt to lift their spirits too. Hey guys, why so glum? I promise you guys that we'll pass. No problem. Yeah, but it's so troublesome though. Shikamaru sighed. How can you be so calm, Naruto? Our entire shinobi career is on the line before it even starts. Sakura was fidgeting in her seat. Because I know I studied and practiced real hard, Sakura. I know we can all pass if we put in our all. Naruto pumped in his fist in the air excitedly. Naruto's right, guys. It will be easy as long as we try. Kiba tried to steal Naruto's thunder. It's settled then, we're gonna pass no matter what. An inspired Ino spoke up. The rest of the 12 slowly came around to Naruto's way of thinking. But little did they know a proud Iruka overheard the commotion. He was ecstatic to see Naruto made friends with his entire class and was incredibly proud of his leadership skills. He had the ability to truly inspire others to perform the best they can. He was sure that he would be the greatest Hokage there ever was. Once the crew settled down, Iruka entered the class and spoke, "Well class, this is it. This is your graduation test. For you, this is a make it or break it test. But I guarantee that you all succeed. Not because the test is easy, quite the contrary in fact. The test will contain all the material you have studied for your past years here. You will succeed because each and every one of you here carries the will of fire in you, and that will is the strongest thing that we leaf shinobi have. All of you have prepared immensely for this day, and I know that the next time I see you, you will be fully graduated shinobi for the leaf. Now go on and make me proud." The class erupted into cheers and clapping. They were fully confident they would all pass the exam that stood menacingly before them. Each of them was proud of their home and will of fire. Alright, let's get this done. Naruto pushed himself on. The test itself was no pushover. Like Iruka said, it had everything he studied over the years. Included were highly advanced algebra, calligraphy, hypothetical situations, geometry, political questions, and anything to make sure they were capable of any situation a ninja could handle, from behind enemy lines to full-scale combat. Naruto was breezing through the questions easily. He studied and trained hard for this every day since the attack. He wanted to make precious people like the Hokage and Anko proud of him. He reached the final question, which confused him. To the best of your ability, chose 2 of your classmates to be part of a 3-man cell that you will perform missions with for the majority of your ninja career, and explain, in detail, why you selected them for this. Naruto paused for a moment. He looked around at his class, valuing each of their skills and his personal feelings towards them. Though he still liked Sakura at this point, he knew she liked Sasuke and had accepted that, but he still felt bad. He couldn't decide. He didn't want to choose over his classmates. He valued everyone the same. However, he came to a decision. He wrote it down and hoped for the best. He then stood up, gathering the attention of all the students in the class, walked to the front of the room boldly and turned in his exam paper. He didn't realize his was actually the first one to turn in his exam. He sat down and waited for the exam clock to end. One by one other students turned in their test. The boring silence finally broke when Iruka spoke up at the turn of the hour. "Time. Please lay down your utensils and turn in your exam." No one stood up, signifying that everyone had already turned in their test. "Very well. Please stand to go into the area to begin phase 2 of the exam." All students left the class and followed Iruka into the arena in an orderly manner. Once they had all gathered into the arena, Iruka spoke into the crowd. "We will now begin phase 2 of the exam. In this exam, you will be called up and perform the transformation jutsu and the clone jutsu. You must effectively hold both for 30 seconds to pass the exam. Let us begin. The names were called in alphabetical order, so obviously, it was boring for Naruto for a bit. But in the end, he was finally called in. Trying to pass the time, he decided to ask others about the final question in the exam. "Hey, guys, what did you put for the final question on the paper exam?" he asked. "I answered 27. "Why do you ask?" Hinata responded. "What? I got 34. How did you get 27? A confused Ino asked. Guys, I got Suna for the last question." Kiba spoke uncomfortably. Everyone stared at Kiba while trying to hold in their laughs because of his laid-back response. "Well, it seems that everybody didn't have that last question as I did. It was probably just a fluke anyway. Naruto Uzumaki, please come forward and perform the transformation jutsu." Iruka spoke boringly, but in his mind he thought, "Come on Naruto, show me what you got." Alright then, he jumped up and transformed into Iruka himself. "See? No problem," he exclaimed. "Very good. Now the clone technique please." "I'll do you one better, Iruka-sensei." Shadow clone jutsu. Suddenly multiple clones appeared and stacked on top of each other in a triangle form. The other students looked on in awe and began clapping at the performance. "The shadow clone jutsu? Naruto, how did you learn this technique? Hey, can't a ninja have his secrets?" he said worry-free in his response. "Very well, then I would say you pass." "Yes, I knew you could do it, Naruto." Iruka enterally cheered for his favorite student. "Alright, I think that's the last of them. Well, congratulations class on finishing your genin exams. I can promise you that if you tried your best that you will pass. You will receive your results within the week. Now you are dismissed for the day. Call it a reward for all your hard work over the years." Dismissed. Iruka. After the crowd exited the large stadium, there was only Naruto and Iruka remaining. Iruka broke the silence when he asked, "Out of all the things I've seen you do, Naruto, how in the hell did you pull off the shadow clone jutsu?" "Well, I guess I could tell you. After all, the greatest teachers learn from their students. It was Gigi who taught it to me in the first place. You know, for the ninja, professor, he didn't realize he could use it to do his work for him." Haha, only you Naruto could call the Hokage such a name and then insult his intellect in the same sentence. "Hey, it's what I do, ya know. How about I take you to Ichiraku's for a bite to eat? I know you love that place." Iruka knew he never turned down an Ichiraku run. "Ichiraku's? Deal." Naruto jumped for joy. "Let's go then." Iruka beckoned him. The sensei and student walked down the streets from the academy to go the beloved ramen stand while chatting and joking with each other. Their conversation went over many topics like the other villages, ninja clans in Konoha, and some funny stories they shared, but by far the most in-depth was about Anko. "So how have you and Anko been? She's really taken a liking to you." "She's awesome. She's my best friend. There is nobody greater than her on this planet that could even compare to how wonderful she is." "That sounds great. What do you guys do together?" "Well, our schedules conflict a lot, and when we are together, we're really tired. But on weekends we go out to the training fields and practice. She always shows me a cool technique she knows every time we go. I always try to copy it, but ya know, haha. Don't worry Naruto, I'm sure you'll learn great jutsu and your own techniques in your own time. Leave the copying to Kakashi Hatake." "Huh." Iruka rubbed Naruto's head. "Thanks, also I remember one day we went, she showed me this weird technique." "Okay, go on." Iruka was intrigued. "Okay, well, it went like this." Flashback. November 27th. Konoha Training Grounds. 2 p.m. "Well, here we are Gaki. Go set up by those dummies over there and start practicing your throwing accuracy." "Okay Anko-chan, what are you gonna do?" "Just get some kunai on those dummies, okay?" she responded. "Okay then." He did what he was told to do. He made some shots and landed mainly center mass. He also landed on some of the limbs and one headshot. He wasn't perfect though, there was some misses, he got a good ratio of them. He was about to throw his last kunai and begin on his shuriken when a loud shout came from behind him. "Shadow snake hands." Suddenly 2 snakes shot past him and coiled around 2 of the 3 dummies. Then Anko zipped towards Naruto with kunai in hand. She braked by touching down her feet and held a kunai to his throat, all the while the snakes retracted and wrapped themselves around a dumbfounded Naruto. "Haha, it worked. I finally perfected it." Anko cheered and raised her hands, cutting both of his cheeks. Naruto was shaken up. He felt utterly helpless but so safe in her snake arms. He didn't know how to feel about it, so he just stood still with skin flushed from color. Why so pale, Gaki? You don't like my new move? I know you like this part though. Anko whispered in his ear, giving Naruto goosebumps. Furthermore, she then used the snake tongue jutsu to lick both of his bleeding cuts from the left and going across his mouth to the right. Your face is so funny when I do that, Gaki. Ha 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 ha. She let him loose and started laughing. She kept laughing even when she fell to the ground because of it. Naruto's face turned into a pink mess. He had a nosebleed right there on the spot. When Anko did that, he got all tingly and responsive. Especially in his face, you can tell that he was enjoying and hating it at the same time, and he didn't yet know how to deal with that problem yet. So he just felt embarrassed and stood there while Anko laughed at his expense. Anko, noticing his little dilemma, said, "Hey, come down here, Naruto," as she yanked on his jumpsuit. "Whoa," he instantly said as he fell down into Anko's arms. "Ouch," he rubbed his head. Anko sat up next to and held her arms around him. She then whispered to him, "Naruto, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a good sport even when I make you uncomfortable. I want you to know that I will always be there for you and you are a light in my world." "Thank you, Gaki. Where would I be without you? For these past weeks, I've had the time of my life. You had always lightened my day. When you tell me your dreams, my will feels rejuvenated. When you tell me your fears, I just want to hold you and protect you. When you tell me about your happiness, I want to just jump for joy. I think I'm falling for you and I don't know how to feel or even if you feel the same. I mean, you're just 12 and a genin. If anyone knew, they would never let you live without fear for your life. Oh, Kami, give me a sign, please." Naruto smiled, then proceeded to hug Anko so tight that the wind was knocked out of her and she fell over. They laughed after they looked at each other awkwardly. "That's for trapping me in your snake arms," Naruto joked. "Anko-chan, you are the most beautiful, nicest, smartest, and most wonderful person I've met. I'd be dead if you hadn't come to save me. I wish I could be older so I could marry you. I don't care even if I'm younger than you. I still love you. I wish I knew if you loved me the same way. I don't want you to leave me if I mess up. I try so hard to make you proud. But if you left me, then I don't know what I'd do. Oh man, somebody please send me a sign. Oh, now I have to get you back." Anko stared him down. Ha 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 ha. The two erupted with laughter and looked at the sky. "You know what, here's a challenge for you," Anko said. "Okay. I'll bite. What is it and what's the catch? If you pass your genin exam with a perfect score, I'll get the best surprise for you ever." "And the catch? You have to stay off ramen for a month if you even get one wrong." Anko smiled evilly. "No, not my ramen." "Well, if you want that surprise, you have to be perfect on that test. You can't do this, ya no. My need to beat you at your own game is just too much." "Oh well, guess you won't beat me." Anko knew she got him to hook, line, and sinker. "Fine, you got me. It's a deal then." She grabbed and shook his hand. Anko then thought to herself, "Whether he wins or loses, you're gonna be mine, Naruto, I promise." Flashback end. Naruto and Iruka had finally got to the ramen stand. They lifted the veil and spoke to Ayame, the lady at the counter. "Hello? We'll have some miso ramen bowls, please." Naruto wasted no time ordering and getting ready to eat. "Naruto, please don't go overboard, I'm still paying for it, you know." "Don't worry about it, Iruka-sensei, it will be fine," he reassured him. "2 bowls for the two of you." Ayame served the 2. "Thanks. Keep them coming, please." "Coming up, Naruto." Iruka deadpanned straight into Naruto's face. The two enjoyed their ramen bowls while having fun and joking around. Though Iruka got more and more worried as each bowl went away and came back. Finally, came the time to say their goodbyes. "Goodbye, Iruka-sensei, have a good night." He walked off. "Goodbye, Naruto." "Excuse me, here is your bill," Ayame interrupted him. "Ah yes, thank you." "What, Naruto?" Iruka best himself up for letting Naruto off like that. December 6th, Mitarashi residence, 8 p.m. Naruto laughed all the way back home when he heard Iruka shout his name halfway through the walk home. When he opened the door, he found Anko having a takeout dinner by herself. "Hey there, Anko, how was your day?" "Whoa there, Gaki. How was my day?" "It was your genin exams." "Huh, yeah. It went well, I guess." "I guess? Come on. Give me details." Okay. I mean, it was easy, I guess." Sounds like the understatement of the year, Anko said all-knowingly. What do you mean? Naruto asked. What I mean is that I know your score. What? How? He was shocked. The Hokage had the great idea to use the shadow clone jutsu to grade your test early. He called me over as soon as the results were in. Really? Hey, guess that's payback then. What? You know what? It doesn't matter. I know your score. Well, tell me, what did I get? Well, it says here. She lifted a paper. Naruto Uzumaki. Your score is Anko. He shouted. Alright. In all actuality, your score is 100%. Congratulations, Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened. Then he broke out into a cheer when knew he won the bet from Anko and was going to become a ninja. Alright, he jumped for joy. I'm so proud of you. You're gonna be a ninja. She hugged him. Well, now that I'm a ninja, what is the surprise you had for me now that I won? He asked. You're looking at your surprise, she smiled. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Naruto Uzumaki, meet Anko Mitarashi, your new Junin sensei. Wait, you don't mean? Yes, I'm gonna be your sensei and we're going to be doing missions together. Congratulations, Naruto. Naruto was beyond ecstatic. He was so happy and proud of himself. He got the best Junin sensei there ever was. He hugged her so tightly and took a bold move. Naruto rushed his lips to Anko's in a fit of love. He didn't think when he did it. He just wanted to kiss her. Like a natural impulse that couldn't be quelled. But the part that surprised him the most is that she didn't pull away at all. It's like she wanted it from him. After a seemingly a year-long moment, Naruto pulled away from her. Naruto knew he was in for it now and had mere seconds to confess his true feelings to her. Anko, I'm sorry, I just couldn't take it anymore. I love you, Anko. I love you so much. I don't care that you're older or that people will look down on us, or that I won't be much for you, but that is the truth. I understand if you don't love me back or if you don't even want me around anymore, but I have to know if you feel the same for me or not. He poured his soul out to Anko. She had the choice to shatter it or complete it, and she chose the latter. Oh, Naruto, she held him tight and placed her head on his shoulder. Naruto, I love you with all my heart. I felt the same since that day we went to the field. You are perfect. I promise that I will love you and never leave your side for the years to come. Now she was the one to let tears flow. Anko had never felt this way about anyone before, so she wouldn't let him go. Not for anything. He was everything for her. Naruto felt like a 100-pound weight was lifted off him. The feeling of finally being loved was like none other he's ever felt. A brave Naruto went back into the lips of his Anko-chan. He did so with even more passion and fervor than before. Anko pushed back with her own love. Her hands grabbed at his shirt and pulled at it. Be advised. Lemon inbound. Well, now that we're together, what do you want to do, Foxy-kun? She whispered suggestively. Naruto's nose bled out instantly when he heard this. But he was worried. He has never done it before, so he didn't want to mess up. Anko-chan, the only thing I want is you, he responded endearingly. Oh, my whittle, Foxy-kun wants me? You know how happy that makes me? She responded. She then lifted Naruto up and started to peck him with kisses. Not as happy as I am, Anko-chan. He boldly admitted. Oh really? Well, I guess you're beautiful and Anko-chan is going to have to prove you wrong. She defied him deviously. Okay, prove that I make you happier than you could to me. You couldn't even if you tried. He gloated. Yes, Naruto-sama, she said in an obediently pleasing voice. When Naruto heard the sama suffix, he knew he was in for the time of his life. He got an instant nosebleed because of it. You make me so happy, Naruto-sama, that I want to do this. Anko dropped Naruto on the bed and kissed him wildly. She then upped the ante by snaking her tongue into his mouth. His eyes shot open when he first felt it, but soon shot back with his own tongue, creating a battlefield between the lovers' mouths. Anko didn't even flinch when she felt her lover fight back. She adored the challenge of proving tongue superiority. She continued to raise the heat of the fires of passion when she grabbed Naruto's hand and placed it on her supple breast. Naruto, without missing a beat, fondled and squeezed the love pillow, causing Anko to squeal in loving delight. He went as far as grabbing the other with his right hand and massaging it. Ooh, she moaned as her young lover followed his instincts as a man. He didn't stop there. Oh no. After the year-long battle of the mouths, Naruto went for his lover's womanhood. He removed his right hand from her breast and reached down her skirt to feel a drenched pair of panties to be stopping him from Anko's beautiful flower. He started to rub with 2 fingers to test the waters. He knew he was in the clear when Anko broke away from the extended kiss just to moan intensely. "Put another Naruto-sama, please," she moaned. He pleased her by adding another finger to the mixture. Anko recoiled from the increasing amounts of pleasure that she received. Each motion sent waves of pleasure through her entire body. Her legs began shaking at the thought of receiving the full package. His package, that is. After a while, she could no longer wait for him to introduce it on his own, she needed to force him. She grabbed his hands and placed them by his side. "Huh? Is something wrong, Anko-chan?" he asked as he hoped he hadn't done anything wrong. "No, I just want to have you in a safe spot when I rock your world." "Huh?" He was confused. "Just watch me, Naruto," Anko commanded. Naruto understood what she meant when broke the kiss and licked her way down to Naruto's pants. "I'm gonna blow your mind, Naruto." Anko smiled at him. Anko pulled down his pants so only his ramen boxers remained. She saw the tent he was pitching and her mouth was watering at the sight of it. She removed the boxers to see it. Naruto wasn't overly gigantic, but if he was this big at such a young age, Anko could only imagine how big it would be when he was fully grown. "Oh my Kami," she unknowingly said out loud. "Anko-chan? What happened?" Naruto became even more worried than before. "Don't worry, Naruto-kun, it's fine. In fact, it makes it better." She looked at him through the rock-hard object between them. Anko couldn't hold it longer and began to kiss and suckle on Naruto's manhood. Naruto's eyes rolled back at the sensation. He was feeling so great. Anko saw her moment and went all in on Naruto's manhood. "Anko-chan, it's amazing," he shouted at the shock. She continued to suck on Naruto's manhood for a while. She remarked on his stamina, no ordinary man could hold on for such a long time. After she found Naruto's rod to be wet and moist enough, she straddled Naruto and prepared herself. "Anko-chan," Naruto huffed. "Yes, Naruto-kun," she answered. "I'm glad that you'll be my first. I know that I'm probably not your first and that's okay as long as I'm yours." He admitted. "Thank you, Naruto-kun. I promise you that I will be only yours and no one else's." "Thank you. Now come here." He sat up and hugged her. When she tried to hug back, he grabbed both of her arms and got on top of her. "Oi, Gaki, you tricked me," Anko reacted. "Yeah, I did. But if you want me, you'll stay," Naruto offered slyly. Anko, being already prepared and feeling him at her entrance, reluctantly agreed. "I'll get you back for this, Gaki. No one holds one over Anko Mitarashi for long. Now fuck me, Naruto-kun." Hearing this, Naruto went inside Anko. He left no expectation unsatisfied for her. She moaned loudly with each thrust. "Oh yes, right there," she roared as waves of pure, raw ecstasy poured throughout her entire body. The sounds of love were heard throughout the entire apartment complex and they didn't care a bit. The whole world could hear them and it wouldn't matter. They loved each other and it was beautiful for them. With thrust, Anko lost it more and more. Naruto brought her to the brink by planting his lips on her breast and began to play with it while increasing his speed and depth tenfold. Naruto then remembered something from a magazine he once read and decided to try it out. He removed himself from Anko's breast and placed his finger inside Anko's behind while he was thrusting into her. Lo and behold, she enjoyed it. Naruto could tell from her moaning deeply when he put it in. "Keep going, Naruto, I'm almost there," Anko screamed to him. But for Naruto, he found himself lowering on stamina. But by some force unknown, he found the ability to make two and simultaneously climax with Anko. "Give it all to me, Naruto-kun. I can't hold on, Anko-chan." The two screamed in unison the other's name as they climaxed, letting out the final push of the most pure and powerful feeling one could ever fathom in their life. Naruto had filled Anko with his ropey seed that came spewing out of her body once he released himself from Anko's womanhood. Be advised. Lemon over. Naruto fell to Anko's side, both panting from the exhausting experience called love. Their bodies were covered in a film of sweat and the bed was soaked from the bodily fluids that were released during the act. Anko knew that the first thing to do was to make sure an unexpected surprise wouldn't come from this day. She conjured a hand seal and placed two of her fingers over her navel. "What are you doing?" asked an oblivious Naruto. "Making sure I don't get pregnant, Gaki. What else could I be doing?" she responded. "Oh, I forgot about that. Hee hee. He chuckled at his ignorance. And done. Anko put her hands down and looked at the ceiling. I love you so much, Anko-chan. Naruto wrapped his hands under the breasts of his lover. I love you too, my little foxy Naruto-kun, she chuckled and then embraced Naruto. When do we should tell everyone else? Naruto asked. I think we should wait a year before anyone should know. Since you're a genin it is still legal, but I think you're on your 13th birthday we should announce it to the world. Anko responded. Okay, I think you're right. It will be hard though to resist kissing your beautiful lips in front of everybody, he admitted. You such a flirt, Gaki. She laughed. But you know it's true, Anko-chan, he said. I know, but it's for the best. I understand. I love you, Anko-chan, nothing will ever change that. I love you too, Naruto-kun. The couple fell asleep in each other's arms. Anko smiled at Naruto, who was already fast asleep due to his fox-like tendency to purr when he is in the comfort of her arms. I promise you, Naruto-kun, I'll train you to be strong. I'll be right by your side every step of the way. It had been little over a year since that fateful night, where Naruto confessed his love to his most precious person. And since that night they have never been happier, even though they had kept it under wraps from the world. Even Anko's close friends don't know about their true relationship. Although, the Genjutsu mistress, Kurenai Yuhi, Anko's best friend, knew something suspicious was going on with her love life. She just wasn't sure who was behind it. But besides her, not a soul suspected anything. Naruto sits at the table just after preparing a late breakfast for Anko and himself. They had awoken late because of some special activities they performed the night before. The kind of activities that are meant for a pair just as close as them. For you, my beautiful serpent, your meal. He lowered the plate in front of Anko. For me? Oh, thank you, my foxy-kun. She cooed. Naruto went back to retrieve his plate and sat down across from Anko. Man, how do you cook this good? She asked while chomping down on her food. Well, living by yourself for 12 years sure does force you to pick up some tricks. The pair continued to eat their meal, one of them chomping away and the other calmly eating at his food. As he was eating, Naruto reminisced on his last day at the academy, the day the genin were assigned to their sensei. Flashback. Alright class, it is time. For those of you who passed, I will now name your genin squads with your sensei. The entire class went silent and readied themselves for their names to be called. Naruto listened carefully for his name. He thought he would be on Anko's team with 2 other genin but was surprised when he named was not called. He heard Sakura's name, Sasuke's, and another kid that showed up that day named Sai. Sai was a pale, scrawny boy who seemed friendly enough, but Naruto took a look into his eyes. He knew right then and there that the smiles he let off were just a ruse. Ino, however, took a liking to him. She thought he was cute with his pale skin and void-colored hair. Naruto noticed that Team 8 was headed by a Kurenai Yuhi. He heard about her through Anko but never had the pleasure of meeting her. Iruka finally finished his list and said, and that's it, class. Congratulations to all of you. He started to tear up. You are sniff dismissed? The class celebrated and left the room, once again leaving Naruto and Iruka in the class alone. So I assume you already know who your sensei is? Iruka asked. Yeah, I thought that I would have 2 other teammates though. Nope, you are the first genin to get a solo sensei in a long time. Really? Yeah, I wonder how she managed to convince the Hokage to allow her to become a solo sensei like that. I know from experience that she could be very persuasive. You wouldn't believe the amount of dirt she could find in a short time. I know, she's gotten to me a couple times in the past too. Ha 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 ha. The two broke out in laughter. You know what's funny though is that the answer you gave for the final question on the exam. Hey, not what you expected. To say the least. I thought you would choose Sakura considering your obvious infatuation with her Naruto. Well, I got someone else on my mind. Oh really? Please, go on, you would like me to, would you? Well, I'm not going to. That's my business. Ha ha ha. Alright then, keep your secrets. Naruto just smirked in response. Either way, congratulations Naruto, I'm so proud of you. Hey, thanks Iruka-sensei. I guess this is goodbye for now. When you come back from your first mission out of the village we'll be sure to celebrate with some ramen, my treat. Good luck out there. Make me proud. I gonna hold you to that Iruka-sensei. Believe it. Naruto walked out of the classroom to find Shikamaru, Hinata, Kiba, Choji, and Ino outside of the class. They pounced on him with questions on who his sensei is. Naruto, why wasn't your name called out for your sensei? Did you not pass your exam, Naruto? Ino asked. Yeah, Naruto, you better have passed after all the cheerleading you did on test day. An aggravated Kiba dissed. Whoa guys, slow down. I passed it alright. I got 100% on it. Naruto raised his hands in defense. If you passed, then who is your sensei then? Shikamaru logically questioned. It's Anko Mitarashi. He answered blankly. Isn't she that crazy snake lady that showed up that one time in class? Choji thought out loud. I wouldn't say crazy. She's just different. I think you mean completely insane, Naruto, Ino corrected him. Hey, she's not that bad. Not at all. Naruto defended her. Well, I don't know, she did seem pretty out of it. Kiba agreed with Ino. But still, you have a sensei by yourself with no other teammates. I've never heard of that happening before. Shikamaru rubbed his chin. Yes, I agree. Why is that? Hinata thought the same. Guess I was the odd one out, huh? Naruto scratched the back of his head. Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. Thanks for caring enough to wait out here to ask me about it. Naruto continued. What do you mean? We're your friends. It's our jobs to ask about it. Ino punched him the shoulder with her classic attitude. Yeah, definitely man, we've got your back. Kiba agreed. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Naruto smiled and beamed. Flashback end. Ah, the good times. Naruto chuckled at himself. Anko noticed Naruto daydreaming away at his seat. Look at him. He's cute when he's lost in thought like that. Let's see if the taste of sweetness will wake him up. Anko stared at him while cocking her head smiling. Anko then stood up, leaned over the table and planted her lips on his. Naruto's eyes shot wide and stood to attention. What also stood to attention was the tent in Naruto's pants, causing a blush forming on his whiskered cheeks. Anko chuckled and continued to pressure him by licking him on his whiskers as a mother fox does to her young. Naruto found this soothing. He purred and cooed in her embrace. He enjoyed being smothered with her love and he found her kisses soothing. Anko released him from the kiss and said, "Well, that got you awake, didn't it?" Naruto didn't play any games and just exhaled, "Oh Kami, I love you so much." He then latched on to her and returned the kiss. This time pulling out all the stops. He shoved his tongue into her mouth and she welcomed it completely. It was now Anko's turn to go wide-eyed. She didn't expect him to come at her like that. But she liked his boldness. That's what she loved about him. His carefree attitude. His loving demeanor. My Kami, you are the best boyfriend I could ask for. I love you. She locked in his pure blue eyes. But life goes on, Naruto and Anko know this. They'll let out all their love so that way they could resist the temptation in public. They left each other's embrace to ready themselves for their day. Anko in her trench coat, skirt, and fishnet shirt. Naruto not in his iconic orange jumpsuit but in a trench coat akin to Anko's but in black. The coat had a purple snake trailing down the back as a subtle homage to his master. The sleeves, however, were only up to elbows. He also wore a black headband that held his Konoha insignia. Underneath he wore a black shirt with the sleeves down with an orange stripe down under the arms. After all the conditioning Anko had done to him to forget that horrid color, he couldn't let it go. He wore black standard issue shinobi pants and battle sandals. His hair remained its blonde spiky style with some added length. Look at you, a handsome thing you are. I'm glad I scooped you up before some girl like that Hyuga or that Pinky got to you. Anko grabbed at his crotch and spoke in his ear. I'm glad I have you. Also glad that we got me this over my jumpsuit. It has too many bad memories. Naruto looked at himself in the mirror with Anko behind him. I promise I'll never let that stuff happen to you again. I'll catch you when you fall and I'll be there for you. Anko caressed his hair. Thank you Anko-chan, I love you so much. Well, I'm ready to go. What's on our schedule for today? Well, I want to introduce you to an old friend of mine. Meet me at our spot in 2 hours. I got to go handle some business with some foreign ninja who thought they could sneak in without suffering the wrath of the beautiful Anko Mitarashi. She walked over to the door. Sounds good, see you then Anko-chan. Naruto kissed her. See you later. She left and closed the door behind her. Well, I got some spare time on my hands. What should I do? He rubbed his chin. Maybe I should go catch up with Sakura and Sasuke, or maybe Kiba, Hinata, and Shino. And so he took off. In the new garb that he wanted to show off to his friends. He takes off to the nearest training ground to see if he could find a team training. As he leapt from roof to roof he noticed the Hokage faces carved on the side of the mountain. I wonder what will happen when they run out of space. Down when the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, or even 15th Hokage show up. I guess they'll just carve that face when they get there. Hey! But after jumping from roof to roof for a short while he spotted Kurenai Yuhi and her team in some form of meditation. Possibly against a Genjutsu considering the team was visibly under stress by sweating and strain on their faces. Naruto was fascinated by the training. Since Kurenai was the best at Genjutsu in the country, it makes sense that she would want to pass down her knowledge in the subject. Naruto wanted to try his hand at expelling Genjutsu from the mistress herself, so he sat down in the file the other members were in and flared some chakra as a challenge in a way. He let her know that he was here and wanted to be tested. Kurenai, upon detecting him, chuckled. It's that Uzumaki, Anko's student. It seems he wants to join in on the fun. Well, let's not keep him waiting. Naruto began to hear a ringing in his ears. He looked around but there was nothing to make the noise. He assumed it was part of the Genjutsu. It must be a trick to throw him off his game. He recalled some lessons on Genjutsu in his academy days. When facing a user of Genjutsu, stay calm. The user will attempt to bridge your mind with their allowing them to attack your chakra system and nervous system. The best way to fight this is to remain calm. Genjutsu affects your nervous system by disrupting the chakra that heads to your sensory organs, eyes, ears, nose, etc. So by overloading your entire nervous system with chakra, you can break most Genjutsu. Naruto did nothing. He showed no disturbance. In response, Kurenai increased the pressure. She stopped the ringing and began the sounds of insects swarming him. This made Naruto hesitate. He began to swat the air around him. He kept doing so until he regained his composure and sat still. He's better than I thought. I'd better raise the heat. She remarked at his natural talent despite lack of any training. At this time, Kurenai had focused all her attention on Naruto, leaving the remaining team confused as to why the pressure had been suddenly lifted, not that they were complaining. Kiba and Hinata were sweating due to the constant strain of Genjutsu. However, Shino showed no visible strain, though he didn't show much of any emotion to begin with. Hey Kurenai-sensei, what gives? Why did we all stop all of a sudden? Kiba obnoxiously questioned, but he received no response. Only a gentle breeze on the wind was heard. The students stared at Kurenai waiting for a response. Kiba and Shino heard a gasp from their side and looked over to find a red-faced Hinata sitting nervously next to Naruto. Hey, I guess she still has that crush even after he tried to end it. Sighs in his own thoughts, somehow I wish she would pay attention to me as she does to him. The mental battle being fought was akin to nothing that Kurenai has ever seen in a genin. Try as she might, Kurenai was unable to successfully trap him in a genjutsu for more than a minute, at least using standard techniques. But she wasn't referred to as the genjutsu mistress for using just standard techniques. She stepped up her game. She released to Naruto one of her stronger moves. Oh no, not that move. Hinata's eyes widened at what her sensei was about to do. What is it, Hinata? Kiba was surprised at her shock. That's one of her stronger genjutsu moves, Kiba. Kurenai's sensei is gonna completely envelope Naruto's optical nerves. You know what that means? What does it mean? Kiba dumbly replied. That technique preys upon the victim's worst fears, replaying them on loop. That can cause some serious damage. I do not believe Kurenai's sensei would not let it go that far. She would not use such a barbaric technique on a comrade. Shino doubted. Kurenai, however, was gonna pull any punches, but instead of his most horrifying nightmares, his most awkward memories and thoughts. The most cringe-inducing, bone-chilling idea he has conceived would flood his eyes. This will work, I can imagine his face now. Anko is right, I need to engage in this side more often. Kurenai laughed inwardly. And then, it came. Naruto gritted his teeth, he clenched his hands, he pressed his eyes shut. He couldn't force them out of his head. Finally, he broke under the soul-crushing, heart-demolishing weight of those damn thoughts. No 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 Okami no. Get out of my mind. He struggled internally. He depicts by covering his head with hands like he was having a breakdown. If she keeps this up, I'm finished. She'll completely capture me with genjutsu. This is bad. Very bad. He continued. I have him under my thumb, like playing a damn fiddle. Now to seal the deal. She smirked. Not so fast. A deep evil voice emerged into Kurenai's thoughts. What the? Who are you? How did you get here? She panicked, believing she already knew the answer. Yes, 'tis I, the Kyuubi himself, yada yada all that crap. Listen, I'm going to keep this short. Despite your immense skill for Genjutsu, for a human anyway, you seem to forget one of the biggest weaknesses of it. Genjutsu creates a bridge that is traversable by both parties. Therefore, while you attack Naruto's mind, I can attack yours. And when it comes to Genjutsu, I reign supreme amongst all the tailed beasts. Shit, was all she was able to conjure up before Kurama sent a mental barrage at Kurenai, causing her to physically fall back. Let that be a lesson next time you don't consider the risks of your trade. He broke the link, leaving Kurenai dumbfounded and pissed that she was beaten at her own game. Hey, Kurenai-sensei, are you alright? Kiba looked worried for once in his life. I'm alright, Kiba, just surprised. Thanks for looking out for me. She rubbed his hair. Naruto opened up his eyes and noticed Kurenai on the ground. Huh? What happened? Wait. Hey Kurenai-sensei, are you okay? He questioned. Don't worry kid, she'll be okay. I just expelled her from your mind. Oh hey, thanks Kurama, I appreciate it. Naruto looked up like he was talking to a god. No problem, having a tailed beast for a living roommate sure does have its perks. If you need me to do it again, you know where to find me. In your mind, that is. Hey, cool, thanks. He chuckled. Well, Naruto, you seem to be better with Genjutsu defense than I thought. But would you like learn how to use it? Kurenai spoke to Naruto. Well, I never really thought about Genjutsu before. But by seeing your skill with it makes me want to learn it. Very well then, come back to me later so we can discuss it. Impressive, Naruto, you defeated Kurenai-sensei at her own specialty. I recommend you take up on her offer. Shino let go of his stoic silence to compliment him. Yeah man, that was pretty cool. You could be the next big thing in Genjutsu. Kiba agreed. Hey, thanks, guys. So how have you guys been over the year? Training sure does take a lot of time out of our personal lives, doesn't? Yes, indeed, Naruto-kun, training can be quite time-consuming. Hinata entered the conversation. Well, I have been studying some of the more practical use of beetles, like the Baikochu. They can track someone over immense distances. Shino explained. Lol, I can't have anything else about beetles. Well, not to brag, but I've been learning a new technique with Akamaru here. Wanna see? Kiba smirked. Sure, let's see it, raised Naruto. Alright, here we go. Inuzuka style. Man-beast transformation combo. Akamaru jumped off Kiba's head and a smoke cloud appeared, covered him. Then as it dissipated, an exact copy of Kiba stood alongside him. That's pretty cool. It's kinda like my shadow clone technique but with little Akamaru here. Naruto commented. Check this out. Both Kibases responded, creating an echo. Fang over fang. Kiba and Akamaru shouted before jumping, creating a spiraling vortex headed towards a tree and broke it in half. Wow Kiba, that's so cool. Hinata's eyes went starry as Sakura would do to Sasuke. Kiba noticed her eyes and blushed deeply, though it was unnoticeable through the vortex. However, he lost focus in the technique and fell face first into the ground. Whoa, he shouted as planted into the ground. He tried to come back with a witty, I'm okay, but his hand fell down, causing a comedic relief for Naruto. Make sure you cover that before you use it in a real battle, Kiba. I'd hate for you to beat yourself. Haha, Naruto laughed at his position. Hinata ran over to Kiba to check on him. Kiba-kun, are you okay? She bent down to see him. Kiba flipped onto his back and said, yeah, I'm alright. Sucks that I didn't get down though. He pouted like a dog. It's okay Kiba, you just need a little more practice, that's all. Actually, I thought was really cool. Really? Kiba's face went to a smile. Yeah, actually, do you want to come by sometime and train with me? I need some help with my own jutsu so we could help each other out. Would you like that? Yeah, yes. I mean yeah, that'd be cool. Kiba tried to maintain composure but slipped up. Okay cool, so next week Saturday, 3 o'clock? Yeah for sure. Can't wait. Kiba was now cheering. He felt red as his face paint. He really liked Hinata. Normally he was the guy that oozes confidence. He wouldn't care much for girls, he respected them of course. But then came Hinata. He never really noticed her in the academy, but over the year, he has grown closer to her. Especially when Naruto turned down Hinata's advancements. That particularly hurt her the most. Her self-confidence hit the gutter. Kiba saw her at a low time and he stayed by her. That solidified his attraction to her. Well, guys, I better be going now. I got something to finish before I begin my training sesh. Naruto waved as he walked off. Okay, see ya later, Naruto. Kiba stood up and waved him off. Goodbye, Naruto-kun. Hinata held up a peace sign. Very well, be good, Naruto. Shino crossed his arms and pressed his glasses up. That Uzumaki, he sure is something. He sure is lucky to have Anko as a teacher. I can see why she enjoys his presence. Now with the time I have left, what should I do? Wait, I know. Yes. His mouth began to water with excitement and his primal instincts took over. He made a mad dash to his most beloved place, or at least his most beloved place when Anko wasn't around. March 10th, outside Hokage Mansion, 12 p.m. Well team, we did well on this mission. You should be proud of yourselves. I say we go to get some food on me. The sensei cheered his team. Is this an apology for the number of times you've been late? The suspicious Pinkette questioned. What, can't an honest sensei treat his students to lunch after a mission anymore? Chivalry is dead, he responded. Yeah sure, I was getting hungry anyway. Let's go. She waved. In all fairness, sensei, you are late. A lot. In fact, all of the missions we've done together you've been late by an average of 1 and 32 minutes. A pale raven-haired boy logically explained. Let's just get this over with, okay Sai? A deadpanning Kakashi. Very well sensei, he smiled. The sensei and his team walked down the street looking for a bite to eat until they spotted Ichiraku's ramen noodle shop. Seeing that there was no other restaurant in sight, they just reasoned that it couldn't be that bad. The team sat down on the stools and situated themselves. Hello there, what can I get for you all? Old man Tucci smiled and greeted his customers. Yes, can I have one of your what the? Ah, Sakura was pushed aside for a hunger-driven Naruto. Alright old man, 10 bowls of the usual on the double. I haven't eaten ramen in a month and I'm not gonna wait any longer. Naruto was already salivating at the aroma. Hey, Naruto, long time no see, it's coming right up for ya. He forgot all about Sakura and focused on his favorite and best paying customer. The squad sitting down were shocked at the boy's rash move. They were eagerly waiting for Sakura to come back up and sock Naruto square in the face. Alright, what kind of ill-mannered, short-sighted, Doomba's wait? Naruto? She cocked her head. Oh hey, Sakura, long time no see right? He smiled at her dumbly. Yeah, I guess it has huh? Her anger dissipated like the breeze carrying a cherry blossom on the wind. Yeah, oh hey Sasuke, how you doing man? Who are these two? This is Kakashi Hitaki Naruto, he is our sensei. He choked on the word, sensei. He never really referred anyone by it, so it was out of the ordinary for him. And this is Saya. Well, he doesn't really have a clan, does he? Hee hee. Sakura laughed off the awkwardness. Well, nice to meet you guys. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the future Hokage himself. Very well, nice to meet you Naruto. Sai smiled. Yo, Kakashi held up a peace sign and closed his only exposed eye. Odd, normally Sakura would deck just about anyone that pushed her like that. Especially him, considering all the stories I've heard about him being a nuisance to her. Always asking for her love and trying to treat her like a queen, only to be rejected and denied. But that's changed, I wonder why. Her anger vanished as soon as she recognized him. Also, his attitude towards her has changed. Instead, he treats her like a friend. Maybe he's moved on? Maybe he found someone else that returned his affection? Perhaps Sakura has come to a realization that pushing away Naruto was a mistake? I can only wonder. The Junin pondered. Order up. Ayame placed the bowl in front of Naruto. Enjoy Naruto. Yes, you're a saint Ayame-chan, thank you. Naruto dug into his meal, leaving no noodle behind. Tucci and Ayame were always so infatuated with how he could eat so quickly. So much so that they would forget to take other customers' orders. Hey excuse me, can we order please? Sakura waved at the distracted shop owners. Oh ho ho, yes sorry, what would you like? Tucci took out a notepad. The team ordered their respective meals. They watched as Naruto devoured his bowls one after another with no end. Wow Naruto, you can really eat, can you? Sakura watched him chew down his food. This stuff is so good Sakura, it's like a gift from Kami himself. You wanna try? Sure, why not? She cocked her head. Here's the next bowl Naruto. Enjoy. Ayame grabbed his empty bowls and served him his next one. Perfect. Here Sakura, try it. Naruto passed over the bowl. Sakura picked up the chopsticks and grabbed a heap of noodles and plopped them into her mouth. Her eyes widened at the taste. She chewed then swallowed, waited for a second, then began to attack her meal with a fury that made Naruto jealous but also massively proud. Good, right? I knew you like it. The broth is made to perfection. The noodles themselves are masterfully designed, created by a true master. The condiments on the side just add to the already wondrous taste. To be honest, it's simply the greatest thing to ever happen to humanity. He went on to describe the wonders of ramen and its history like some kind of geek. All the while Sakura chowed on the wonder food that was invading her taste buds. She finished up the bowl and proceeded to thank Naruto for showing her the wonders of the magical ramen stand. Wow Naruto, that was great. I get why you swore by this place for so long. Yeah I know, it's great. Naruto looked at the clock that was hanging above the stove. Hey, almost one. Wait, don't I have to meet up with Anko-chan at the training ground? Oh shit, I'll never hear the end of it if I don't get there in time. Naruto stood up and explained the situation to the team who were calming eating away at their food. Hey guys, I hate to cut it short but I gotta meet my sensei soon and I gotta run. But nice to meet ya Kakashi sensei and Sai, see ya. He ran off. Wait, Naruto. Hold on. Sakura met him halfway. Yes, Sakura? He stared into her green eyes. I want to talk to you about something privately. Meet me at the library at 5 o'clock, okay? Of course Sakura, I'll see you there. Okay, now go before I'm responsible for you being late. She turned him around. Okay, see you then. He waved her off while running off. Sakura, what was that all about? Sai asked. Oh, nothing important. I see. March 10th. Training ground. 12:58 p.m. Naruto made to the training ground with only 2 minutes to spare. Luckily Anko was running a little late herself so it would work out just fine. Naruto was under the shade of a tree when Anko made her entrance. She snuck up behind the tree and used her shadow snake hands to tie him up. What the? Anko, he roared. Hey there Naruto. I noticed you seem to be tied up there. She smirked. Ha ha, very funny, you got me. Can you let me go now? Yeah, why not? The snakes retracted. So what's on the agenda for today, sensei? It's something I've been looking forward to ever since you became my student. Really? Yeah, but first let me ask. How do you feel about snakes? What's your opinion on them? Naruto was confused. What an odd question, he thought. He didn't mind snakes. In fact, he thought of them better than most people would. He thought they were noble despite their trickster nature. He was himself the self-proclaimed pranking king, so he enjoyed that tricky type they presented. Their variety of coloring and sizes was also something he enjoyed about them. I think they're pretty cool. Snakes and I have a lot in common, and they look really cool with all their colors and patterns. Considering I'm wearing one on my back, I'd say they are my favorite animal. Why do you ask? Because I want to make you part of the next generation of snake summoners and you just passed the test. Wait, for real? Naruto was surprised. Yes, for real. Anko-chan, I'm honored. I'll make you proud. I'm glad you want to do it. Let's get started, shall we? She bit her thumb and conjured a hand sign. Then slammed her hand onto the ground and a large smokescreen appeared to reveal an anticlimactically small snake. Hello there Anko-chan, how can I assist you today? The small snake overpronounced the S. Hello there, you won't believe what I got for you. I need the snake summoning contract for this new blood here. Oh, I see. Have you vetted him? He shows immense promise, she assured. I see. Very well, I will make the preparations. You will be reverse summoned shortly. She vanished in smoke. Naruto, take my hand. Anko held her hand out to him. Okay, he grabbed it. Suddenly the pair disappeared and reappeared in a large room. The walls were stone and the place was dimly lit so that there was a main focal point at the end. Naruto looked around and when his eyes returned to what's ahead of him, he became frozen in fear. In front of him was a serpent of epic proportions. The size of him would make an Akamichi's expansion jutsu feel small. So young Anko has brought me a new blood for the summoning contract. Tell me, boy, what is your name? The beast spoke. Naruto Uzumaki, sir. He came off as most respectful as he could. Sir? Ha 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 ha. I haven't been called that in a long time. He laughed. I can feel your fear, boy. There is no need to worry. Yeah, Naruto-kun, relax. What is he gonna do? Eat you? Though he could do that rather easily. Anko admitted. not helping Anko. Naruto looked at her. I am Manda, head of the Snake Clan. You are standing in Ryuchi Cave, our home. Welcome. Thanks for having me, he responded. Now let us get back to business. Here is the scroll. A large scroll appeared and opened up before them. In the empty space, sign the name in your blood and the ritual will be complete. The scroll itself was large and cumbersome. It featured 4 other names next to where Naruto would be signing. Anko's, Orochimaru's, and 2 others written in some indecipherable language. Okay, here we go. He bit his own thumb and began to sign. Perfect. I sense a long and prosperous relationship with the Uzumaki for years to come. Ever since the betrayal of Orochimaru, the people of Konoha have come to distrust us, even fear us. No shinobi would come to us for their summon. But I sense this will soon come to an end. Allow me to introduce you to your own personal summon, my son, Bosk. Hello there, Naruto. I am Bosk, it is an honor to hunt alongside you. The snake slithered along his body and onto his shoulder. Hello there, you certainly are a bold one, aren't you? Well, tell me, how can I best use your abilities? I'm glad you asked. Because of my small size, I can perform reconnaissance in vastly secure areas. I possess multiple poisons that I can inject into my prey with ease. They range from a non-lethal painless venom to an interrogation venom that can inflict brutal pain. Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to working with you, Bosk. As am I. Well, it is time to make our goodbyes. I expect great things from you, Naruto. Don't forget you have the Snake Clan on your side. Yes, thank you, Manda. Goodbye. Naruto and Anko returned back to the training area in a cloud of smoke. Good work, Gaki. You got in the contact, Anko smiled. I never could have joined if you hadn't given me the chance. Thank you, Anko-chan. No problem, anything for you. But we should get to practicing the jutsu first. I highly doubt you could summon Bosk just yet. We'll have to practice first. And so they did. They worked on it for the entire day. He managed to summon small snakes at first, some which Anko recognized. They didn't like to be summoned out of the blue like that and showed their grievances. But besides that, Anko taught him some snake-related jutsu. Snake tongue and the like. I can't wait to try snake tongue on Anko tonight. I'm sure she'll love it. He giggled. He made decent headway into summoning stronger snakes. Eventually, a few hours later, he was finally able to summon Bosk. Ah, Naruto, I'm surprised. It usually takes longer for beginners to summon their personal summons. I'm impressed. Nice, I managed to get it down. Good job, Naruto. Tomorrow we'll be working the larger summons. But for now, I think, you can be dismissed for today. Thank you, Sensei. I'll see you at home. He bowed and left. Well, I best be making my exit now. Goodbye, Anko. See y'all later. Naruto now headed over to the library to find Sakura. I wonder what she wants to talk about, he wondered. But meanwhile, Sakura was having her own crisis. Should I do this? I have to, with the way I treated him. Ever since he fought Sasuke because of me, I felt different around him. What if he doesn't even like me back? After all I've done, I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted nothing to do with me. Oh, what will I do? She walked back and forth in front of the library. Naruto saw her looking stressed. He walked over to her and said, Hey Sakura, is everything okay? Oh Naruto, you scared me. Sorry, but are you alright? You seem stressed. I'm okay, just fine. Hey, it's okay, you can tell me. I'm here for you. He placed his hands on her shoulders and stared into her weak emerald eyes. Naruto, she stuttered. She couldn't quite get it out. Yes, Sakura-chan? He moved his head slightly closer. I'm so sorry for hurting you all the time. I feel so bad for just leaving you there, after everything you've done for me. Like flowers and chocolates. Oh, please forgive me. She shed tears and hugged Naruto. Sakura-chan, it's okay, I forgive you. I could never be mad at you. He caressed her pink hair and kissed her on her head. Thank you, Naruto. Sakura held him tighter. You're welcome, I'll always love you, know that. He rubbed her head with his cheek. Sakura's eyes widened. He loves me. Did I just hear that? Little did she know he meant a different kind of love. Oh no, what do? I can't just break his heart. I'll just roll with it. I'll make the first move. If it makes him happy, then it will be worth it. She foolhardily decided. Okay, Naruto, how's this? Sakura grabbed his head and pushed her lips onto his. She caressed his hair in order to maintain the act. Naruto was confused. He didn't do anything to warrant this. Wait, it's when I told her I love her. That's not meant I meant. Ah, Naruto, you baka, see what you get yourself into. Naruto sighed. He didn't want to have to hurt her like this, but it had to be done. Naruto-kun? What's wrong? Sakura thought the jig was up. Sakura, I love you, but not like that. You're like a sister to me. I'll admit there was a time when I would have gone crazy if you kissed me. But I found someone else that I love with my heart. I'm so sorry. He looked down. Amongst all the emotional stress, Sakura laughed. She cracked up laughing when she realized all the stress was for nothing. Sakura-chan? Are you okay? I mean, glad you're happy, but I thought you would be sad. No, Naruto-kun, it's okay. I just thought you still loved me, so I didn't want to break your heart. And when you said you loved me, I got all nervous, but I didn't know you meant that way. Haha, geez, Kami, that kills me. Wait, really? Yep. Wow, that's awkward. But Naruto, thank you for feeling that way. I feel the same, and I'm really sorry for the way I've treated you. I'm glad we can still be friends. Yeah, me too, Sakura. Glad we straightened it all out. So in saying their goodbyes, they left. They hoped to forget the whole ordeal and go about their lives. But from that day another friendship was born. One that will hold true until the end of time. March 10th, Mitarashi Residence. 7 p.m. Naruto opened up the door to his home. He just wanted to rest from the stresses of the day. Hey Anko-chan, I'm home. He talked out loud. Oh hey, Naru-kun. How's my cute, little foxy Waxy doing? She baby talked him. Oh fine, how's my, seductive, serpent faring? Do you need some special loving tonight? He rubbed her hair. Not tonight, I'm so tired from today. I just want to fall asleep in your arms. Really? What happened? Naruto questioned. Well, after training, I was called back into INT for a suspected murder suspect. I thought you worked for the Shinobi Corps only? Not just regular policing. Well, this case was different. All I can tell you is that it involved a death in another village's council. Okay, so what was so special about him? Her. She was a clear sadist. Got off to raping and killing men and women. A real progressive piece of shit. She fled here after she committed the murder, she added. Huh, how did you break her? It took some work. She wasn't budging from the pain, so he tried some psychological stuff on her. Bringing back memories of her being abused by her parents. Works every time. Good, you must be so tired from all the work. Do you want a massage? Something to ease the pain? For me? You make me feel so special, Naru-kun. Anything for you.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.